Ooh, wait. Moving and grooving. Moving and grooving. Moving and grooving. What it do, world? What it do, world? It's your main man, Prime Black. Shalom, family. We tuned in today. $1 billion bangers. I gotta wear the shirt and everything. It's a clean shirt, y'all. You know, I know y'all be like, you wear the same shirt. Now you dirty, stinky now. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Matter of fact, and keep it clean. I like this little video. Huh? Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. There we go.
That's gonna be a good human thing. Clean, 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 yeah. Clean, 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 yeah. I clean my room when I'm done with play. Pick up my toys and I put them away. I'm fresh all day, I clean all night. I wash my plate, now crumb in sight. I help my mom, I help my dad. I tell my friend, pick up your trash. I wash my hands, I brush my teeth. I'm always clean, I'm always neat. Clean up, clean, clean, clean. That's gonna be a good human thing. Clean, 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 yeah. Clean, 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 yeah. I clean my room when I'm done with play. Pick up my toys and I put them away. I'm fresh all day, I clean all night. I wash my plate, now crumb in sight. I help my mom, I help my dad. I tell my friend, pick up your trash. I wash my hands, I brush my teeth. I'm always clean, I'm always neat.
See? We've been keeping it clean all this year. So fresh and so clean. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get up and do what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I had to throw that up there. Love the kids. You know what I'm saying? Gotta give them a little spotlight. She got more bars than most of these cats do. You know what I'm saying? She tell her friend to pick up your trash. You know what I'm saying? You clean up your own mess. You know what I'm saying? I can do it too because I ain't got no problem. I'm looking at it right now. I clean it up. But I'm telling my friend, you pick up your own trash. She it on, you know. What to do, world? Shout out to everybody out there. We live on TikTok. We live on Kick, Twitch, live on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. So many of the people out there, shalom everybody out there. See, you never know who you run into in life. You know what I'm saying? You never know who you run into in life. It's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful time we're living in right now. Get my wawa. Get my wawa. So much going on. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me see. Make sure. Should be able to. I can hear all that out of there. Rico live. But yeah, no, everything all good. Everything all good on this sunny side of everything. So wanted to show that real quick. Get that out the way. But we're gonna put the other one on too. Completely forgot about that one. Yeah, we're here double dosing. So let me go ahead and move this one over. Cause I got a ton of stuff. I got stuff. It's gonna be an interesting time. We here, y'all. We are at the end. We are here at the end of all of this. It's been a whole lot we went through. Individually and collectively. So, beloved, you know I gotta put my holy chapstick on. You know what I'm saying? ain't no regular kiss assing over here. We get straight to it, straight to the point, straight to the facts. We show you it is what it is. It is what it is. We just got to keep it that way. Make sure. Okay, everybody can hear me. That's good. Let me clear my throat. So I guess I could show this one right off top then. I was waiting on my other one to pop up, but I'll do this one for now. Got so much stuff, y'all. Got so much. But meteor showers, planetary alignment. I didn't expect to see that one. I don't like the music. Scientists say 2 million. They're always saying something. That ain't what I want to show. If you're a stargazer, then you're in for a great 2025 with not one but 2 events in the first month of the year. The quadrantid meteor shower is expected at the beginning of January, and the parade of planets can be seen later in the month. Quadrantid meteors are comprised of fragments from a particular asteroid and dormant one, so called 2003 EH1, according to the earthsky.org. The website also notes that the quadrantid shower comes about the same time each year, with 3 other major showers follow. The quadrantid shower is one of the 4 major meteor showers each year with a sharp peak. The other 3 are the Lyrids, Leonids, and Ursids, Earthsky states. As for the parade of planets, that's when 6 planets align together in the evening sky. Wow, I didn't know that. Here's more than the skyward events. What is a quadrant meteor shower? The quadrantid, which peaks in the early January each year, is considered to be one of the best annual meteor showers. According, meteor showers have 2-day peak, which makes catching sight of these other meteors much more possible. The meteor shower is caused by an asteroid named 2003 EH1. It is believed to be dormant or extinct comet. The asteroid takes 5.5 years to orbit the sun. Its closest point to the sun, perihelion, is 1.2 astronomical units. When is the upcoming quadrantid meteor shower? It is visible from the evenings of January 2nd and January 3rd. So if anybody knows what day is that, what days those? 2nd and 3rd, this Thursday and Friday coming up. So that's right. Yeah. So what's the source of the quadrantid? The chief object is spawned from the quadrantid. Is an asteroid named 2003. It's believed to be a dormant and extinct comet. The asteroid takes, I read that. According to Star Walk, the planetary parade is a celestial event where multiple planets in the solar system appear close together in the night sky, visible at the same time from Earth, making it look like they are lined up in a sort of parade across the sky. When will the planetary parade be visible? According to the Farmer's Almanac, it will begin after sunset on January 10th. The planets are in parade include Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Venus, Neptune, and Saturn, along with the moon located smack dab in the middle of the lineup. Wow, that is interesting. Noted that the peak time to see the parade is January 21st. Adding, is that Aquarius? Is that Aquarius? I don't know. Adding, people will be able to observe the planets on all the nights leading up to the peak. It will be visible for a few nights after the peak as well. Can the meteor shower and planetary parade be seen with the naked eye? It is possible to see both events with the naked eye, but it is noted on the website. Find an area well away from the city or street lights. Come prepared for winter weather with a sleeping bag, blanket, and a lawn chair. Lie flat on your back with your feet facing northeast and look up. taking in as much of the sky as possible. When are the meteor showers happening in 2025? Lyriad meteor shower, April 21st to the 22nd of this year, of 2025. The Eta Aquariid meteor shower, May 4th to the 5th of 2025. Southern Delta Aquariid meteor shower, July 29th to the 30th of 2025. Alpha Capricornid meteor showers, July 30th to the 31st of 2025. The Perseid meteor shower would be July 17th to the 24th of 2025. And then the Draconids meteor shower will be October 8th to the 25th, October 8th, 2025. So with that being in mind, that was something. Let me bring this other one up. I'm glad I just brought that up. So it's facing south and then east. And okay. Oh, so let me bring that up. All right, we in there. So, okay. Gucci. I'm glad that's there. So I bring that in mind because I believe I brought it up. Not for sure. Felt like an article that I didn't click on, but someone told me to talk about it right now because it kind of will tie in with everything else I'm gonna show too. But no, that was interesting. So with that being said, let me find what I was, because I ain't got to this computer yet. I will though. And hold on 1 second. Let me make sure. Okay, so we brought up that one. Let me bring this one over. So, Year of Venus, how to see the evening star at its best in 2025. Venus is moving toward a dramatic finale in early 2025, when it will dazzle as the evening star after sunset. Here's when to catch it at its brilliant best. In early 2025, Venus will dazzle in the southwest sky after sunset, earning its evening star nickname. I've seen it throughout the night sky in my travels across the whole country all this year. So been able to track it. So it's amazing. It's fascinating to be able to start tying all this together. In early 2025, Venus will dazzle. All right. The phenomenon, which occurs when Venus gets close to Earth, happens once every 19 months. However, as Venus brightens, it will retreat to a slim crescent as it goes through its astonishing moon phase, like dichotomy. Here's what you need to know about Venus 2025. Venus has the evening star and morning star. Seen both. As seen from the Earth, Venus doesn't cross the night sky as the slower moving planets appear to do. Ahead, it can be seen only near sunrise and sunset, moving from morning star to evening star. The back again every 584 days, or about 19 months. Venus orbits the sun every 225 days compared with Earth's 365-day orbit. Those orbital periods combine to create an 8-year cycle in which Venus appears to orbit the sun 13 times, as seen from Earth. During that time, Venus traces a pentagram pattern in Earth's sky, evening 8 years. Wow. Because Venus is closer to the sun than Earth is, orbits faster from Earth's point of view. Venus is always seen close to the sun. So just after sunset, when it's called the evening star, or just before sunrise, when it's dubbed the morning star. About once every 19 months, Venus gets exceptionally bright because it gets closer to Earth than any other planet, and because its global cloud reflects a lot of sunlight. Venus has spent much of the second half of 2024 climbing higher into the post-sunset sky as the evening star. But in 2025, its position above the western horizon will peak and then quickly decrease. So it's going to be able to go through this phase right here. It's starting to be seen. So on January 10th, Venus will reach its greatest elongation east in the post-sunset sky, putting it high above the western horizon after dark from Earth's point of view. This is the farthest it appears to be from the sun in its current apparition. A few days later, it reaches dichotomy, which is when the planet's disk is half lit by the sun as seen from Earth. In the following weeks, Venus will get closer to Earth and appear to shrink to a crescent. Just 23% of it will be lit by February 19th, when it reaches its highest point in the post-sunset sky. By that time, it will be shining at a brilliant magnitude 4.9, negative 4.9. Lower magnitudes are brighter. Okay, I didn't know that. If you have a small telescope pointed at Venus in January and February 2025 to see the planet's phase change, with the telescope, you'll be able to see Venus appear to grow as it gets closer to Earth. In fact, during the planet's dichotomy, the size of Venus' disk will increase by about 60% between January 12th and February 16th. After its dichotomy, here Venus in 2025 key dates. After its dichotomy and performance as a brilliant evening star in the southwest after dark during early 2025, Venus will move into the sun's glare in March and emerge the following month as a morning star. Here are some important dates for Venus in 2025. January 3rd, the crescent moon and Venus after sunset, separated by 1.4 degrees. January 10th, 2025, Venus at its greatest elongation, east after sunset, 47.2 degrees angular distance from the sun. January 12th, 2025, Venus at dichotomy, a half moon shape. January 18, 2025, Venus-Saturn conjunction after sunset, separated by, that's interesting. Okay, separated by 2.2 degrees. February 1st, 2025, crescent moon and Venus after sunset, separated by 2.3 degrees. February 16, 2025, Venus at its brightest in the evening sky, February 16th. It's interesting. What day does that fall on? It's February 16th. Oh, that's on a Sunday. That's a Shemashite. It's interesting. Okay, March 22nd, 2025, Venus at inferior conjunction between Earth and the Sun. April 22nd, 2025, Venus at its brightest in the morning sky. Okay, what day is that? That's Tuesday. So Venus and Mars. Interesting. Venus at its brightest, April 24th, 2025, crescent moon and Venus before sunrise, separated by 2.4 degrees. May 31st, Venus at its greatest elongation, west before sunrise, 45.9 degrees angular distance from the sun. August 12th, 2025, Venus and Jupiter conjunction before sunrise, separated by 0.9 degrees. Excuse me. So you got Venus, Jupiter, in Leo. That is interesting. That is very interesting. That is interesting. I love it. Okay. September 19th, crescent moon of Venus before sunrise, separated by 0.8 degrees. So yeah, that's the end of that article. I think it was a video that was up here. What's it? Oh, the video can't be played. See, scandalous. Scandal. What is that? Am I tripping? Oh, that's the. I thought it was translating me in Spanish. It had that bar right there. I don't know. That was funny. I was like, I'm overseas now. I'm international. I'm out. But no, wow, that's fascinating. Those two articles definitely. I did not expect to grab that. And during the time that it was supposed to be like spoken about, like today of all days. So it's like that's so fascinating. So fascinating. I'll be trip myself out sometime. So yeah, on that note, let's bring it back over here. But shout out to everybody that's out there listening on everything. We on all the platforms. Everybody on TikTok that can't hear, you have to go to the YouTube channel or any of my other channels of Prime Black to listen to the audio or be able to see the articles that I read or the videos that I play. So it's the only way from that point. So you'll be able to go to there. But you're in live direct right now, so thank you. And so yeah, let me go back over here. Excuse me. Let me take this off. Yeah. It's lovely. That was lovely. That was lovely. How's everybody doing, man? I hope y'all good. I hope you're good. I hope you're good. We live. We live on everything. So that being said, we're going to bring it back to over here. Matter of fact, let me bring this down. We're going to see what's going on in the world real quick. Whew, it's red today. I'm going to just refresh. Rewind. Them dates are interesting. I brought those up because they're going to tie into a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you today as well. So, yeah, I want you guys to. That was awesome because of what's to come, what's to be going on right now. Yeah, I just needed to show that off real quick. We still got a bunch of activity all around. It's interesting. I want to see Australia's on my mind. Oh no. It's going down. So let's get one more in. And it's crazy because I brought up that fog. That fog that I was talking about, it's just decimating, and the people can't get where they need to get home. Traveling right now is just is bad. People can't get around nowhere. It's like a really thick, crazy fog right now. You have massive eruptions, but there's these. They start getting yellow, and yellow is going to be activity, but they start getting orange, and getting into the red. And that's when things start changing up real quick. Convey passengers left. No, I don't know what all that is about. Another injured. A plane crashes. I'm telling you this. It's a fog. It's a global fog. They got planes crashing all over the place. I'm gonna tell you, youth pastor identified as a man who died after shark bite. Damn, you go out like that, and I wanted to see how many fires was gonna pop up on here from. I just wanted to pay attention because right now it's stay on my radar. Australia, you're on the clock right now. Hold on, let me get them right. So we're moving over to the States. What we got going on? There's a little earthquake in Ottawa. Over there close to Montreal. Got the homie out there, you know. So, but there was Air Canada plane, flight skids off runway, catches fire. Persistent thick fog. There's a fog everywhere. And it's not letting up. It's not letting up. Fire built, destructive house fire, Freeport. I think I did see that. What's this one? Oh, that's a storm. What's this? 5 engine overnight shooting. And people done lost everything that they had. Fireball scene over. What we're looking at. I'm saying stretching. Let's get closer. Two explosions. Just got a lot of stuff going on. Train collides. We got that from yesterday. 9 injured in explosion. Water accident, road accidents. These are tornadoes. We had Haiti yesterday. Who was over here? So we're in Mexico. You know, bus accident because it's a fog. I'm trying to make some points, y'all. You have to be able to see what I'm talking about. It's getting real in the field. Make sure everything's still good. We're still good. We're still alive. Everybody there. We're good. That's a collapsed building. That's in Jamaica. There's been a lot of fires and stuff too. So they still under curfew. Still got things going on. Let me just see if there was anything updated. Toronto was covering hospital reopening. Still the same out there. So I'm trying to keep it. Port of Spain. Trinidad in state of emergency declared due to heightened criminal activity. So a lot of places is coming under a lot of unrest. I just want to see if the fog is in each place, because that definitely is. If I start seeing all these accidents because of it, it's like, okay, yep. I have my dreams, my visions. Waffle store stampede. I don't know what that is. What's a waffle store? Issues update cause passengers as fog. There you go. I know I ain't tripping. I know I ain't tripping. Syria demonstration, mass movement, 80,000 people demonstrate in Valencia during latest flood protest demanding resignation of President Carlos Mazan. So 80,000 people marching because it's his fault that all their stuff got flooded out. So it's like it's always going to be never nobody taking all of them 80,000. Everybody, it's just that. This what's going to happen. Mass displacement of migration of fans. At least people dead. 50 rescued. Belgium under fire. What is these? Tons of fireworks. Why? What's up with these fireworks? You got people like blowing their hands up and stuff with fireworks. Carbon monoxide poison. You start getting these carbon monoxide situations because people have to. Like, it's cold out there, y'all. It's like ice, crazy cold in places that, that's why I'm bringing these up, because the weather is definitely showcasing itself. What is this? Resident serial demonstration. Everybody demonstrating everywhere. This is last one. Like, the weather is definitely doing its thing. So.
Pattern change will be coming to the United States in early January, and this is going to bring the potential for a few different winter storms that'll bring lots of snowfall to the United States. In addition to that, big Arctic blasts are coming, which is going to bring frigid cold to a large chunk of the country, and many areas could even dive below 0 degrees by the middle of January. So in today's forecast, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know about this weather pattern that'll be impacting the United States over the next couple weeks, and we'll begin with what's happening across the country today. And right now we have a huge storm back over on the east coast of the United States. This actually brought some significant severe weather only a couple of days ago to areas in the Dixie Valley and the lower Mississippi Valley. But overall, it is now moving off to the north and east. It will be moving to the United States later today. Behind this, there is some colder weather that's moving into areas like the Ohio Valley and up and down the east. In addition to that, a little bit of snowfall will fall in the Great Lakes over the next few hours before that eventually moves into Canada. And then also some rain will be pushing into areas like the Northeast, and many areas this morning back over in New England are waking up to record-breaking high-low temperatures. What I mean by that is they are basically dealing with some very warm low temperatures this morning that are breaking records, so pretty crazy stuff there. And further back to the west, we are actually going to have another little system come over the Rocky Mountains and into areas like the Midwest later today and into tomorrow, and this will bring a little bit of snowfall to areas like the Midwest as well as the Central Plains, and then eventually as we go into New Year's Day and as well forwarding that, we are going to start to see the potential for some significant lake effect snow back over near the Great Lakes. Now, the weather pattern that we've been dealing with in the United States has been really based off of a very strong Pacific jet stream, which has basically meant that we're not seeing any cold air coming out of Canada because the jet stream winds have been very westerly. But things are going to change though as we go into early January, because what we're going to be seeing is a huge dip in the jet stream at least a couple of times, I think, in the first 2 weeks of January. And the first dip that we are going to see will actually be at the end of this week. Now, this one's not going to be a huge one. It's actually going to be, I would say, a smaller dip in the jet stream, but it will bring below average temperatures, because notice the jet stream will actually be coming more out of the northwest here, which means that we're going to see some cold air coming out of Canada, but it's not really going to be the biggest one that we're going to see, I think, over the next couple of weeks, because as we go into the following week, eventually by Monday and Tuesday around January 7th, notice this, a huge dip out of the north here across the Rocky Mountains and also through the Great Plains, with a big dip in the jet stream. In addition to that, a trough just located in the northeast of those northerly winds. So this could combine potential for not just cold air, but also the potential for a big winter storm. So I definitely think things are going to get very active as we go into the first couple of weeks of January. And then after that, we're likely to continue to see a weather pattern very similar to that. The GFS model indicating that that dip of the jet stream that's coming out of Canada with all that Arctic air flowing north to south could continue for potentially several days, maybe even upwards of a week, before we actually see some big changes back to being above average for temperatures. With all that said, big Arctic blasts are coming in the first couple of weeks here of January. This is going to be a look here as we go into the end of this week. We're going to get first shot of cold air across areas like the northern plains, Midwest, and as well as the Northeast. Overall, this one, again, is not going to be that significant. It'll just be somewhat below average temperatures. We're not really talking about any records being broken here by the end of this week. Things do change, though. As we go into the weekend and eventually into early next week, that's when we think we'll have two things. One of which being the potential for a winter storm in areas like the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. And behind that, we'll be talking about potential for Arctic air. Now, again, this is about 7 to 8 days out, so the position of this could change a little bit, but we do think we're going to see our first round of big Arctic air as we go into next week. So sometime around Monday into Tuesday, and notice how this goes as far south areas like Texas, Arkansas, back into Tennessee, even dives into the southeast. And if this ends up happening, we could be talking about below freezing temperatures even into areas like Florida right around Wednesday and Thursday, which would be around January 8th and January 9th. And then eventually, as we go into the following weekend, things definitely become more uncertain here, but it does appear as if we are going to be dealing with quite the cold pattern here to begin January. This is also the European model indicating a very similar trend here, but this model actually is more aggressive on the first Arctic blast that we'll be seeing, which is right around January 7th and 8th. And you'll notice right behind the first one, we got a second shot of cold air that's even more intense, and this would bring the record-breaking temperatures across areas like the Central Plains, the Midwest, and perhaps even into areas like the Southeast. Now, again, there is some uncertainty here, obviously, because the GFS model and the European model not showing the same intensity with the Arctic blast, but it's definitely important to note here that there could be a couple of different scenarios here. GFS leaning towards a slightly less cold weather pattern, but even then, the GFS model is still indicating some very frigid weather as we wake up a little over a week from now on January 8th, indicating that we could see some sub-zero temperatures and even a freezing line that goes as far south as areas near Houston, Texas. So this definitely, again, be something to watch for as we go into next week. Now, I do want to point out again that this is still about 10 days from now, so there will definitely be some changes to the forecast, exactly how strong this Arctic blast is and exactly where it positions the coldest weather is still uncertain. But we are again thinking that there's at least growing confidence right now that we are going to be talking about some very frigid weather. The European model is on board, by the way, with the same sort of scenario, slightly less cold, at least the January 8th time frame. It actually indicates much colder weather a little bit beyond that, indicating sometime around January 11th that low freezing temperatures and even below zero temperatures would be happening across the Ohio Valley and maybe as far south as Arkansas. But again, I want to point out again, this is a very distant forecast. We can't really put much stock into this right now because it is just still well over 10 days from now. Now, as we go into January, we do think there's going to be a pretty good amount of snow because we're going to be talking about a couple of different winter weather events over the 7 to 10 days, and then we're likely to see more after that. This is the latest from the Climate Prediction Center on an extended outlook in terms of the risk of heavy snowfall between January 4th to January 10th, and they are already indicating that there's a slight risk of that all the way from the Rocky Mountains into the Central Plains, Ohio Valley, back into the Northeast, and as well as back over in parts of the Great Lakes region. I would also say there's really more of a high risk here back over near Lake Erie and Lake Ontario because there's going to be some big lake snowfall as we go into the first week of January. So let's put this more into perspective with the future radar, and let me show you what I'm confident in seeing in terms of snowfall for the next several days, and also what I'm not nearly confident in. So right now, we are going to be dealing with a little storm here over the next 48 hours that's going to be moving across the Central Plains and eventually into the Midwest. This will bring some light to moderate snowfall to areas like Nebraska, maybe even back into Iowa tonight, and then eventually as we go into tomorrow morning, a little bit of snow is possible on the northern side of this trough, back over in Michigan and perhaps back over in northern Indiana, Ohio. But overall, this is not going to be a big winter storm event, but it's actually going to get a little bit interesting because as we go into the first couple days of January, on the back side of this trough, it's actually going to be an intensifying low pressure system, which will bring the threat of some lake effect snow across Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, and even back over in parts of northern Michigan. We'll be seeing some snowfall in the first few days of January, and it's going to be potentially pretty significant back over near Lake Ontario, for example. We could be talking about several days of lake effect snow because look at how this trough literally spins up here north of New England. And if that ends up happening, we could be talking about a northwesterly wind, which is very prime, by the way, for bringing the threat for some very significant lake effect snow. So potentially 4 to 5 days of lake effect snow will be coming up as we go into the first few days of January. And then by this upcoming weekend, I have about an 80% confidence that we are going to be talking about some sort of large winter storm in the United States. Right now, the GFS model indicating that we could have a big-time winter storm with the potential for freezing rain, sleet, snow in areas like the Midwest, the central northern plains, the Ohio Valley, and eventually back through the Northeast on Sunday and Monday. Now, confidence is increasing that we are going to be talking about some sort of big-time winter storm sometime around Sunday or Monday. Here's the thing. We got two things to talk about here. The first of which, we can't really get into specific details here because this is around 7 days out. Things always change in the weather world, especially on computer models. We could easily see this much further north or south, or we could also see it weak or stronger. There's a lot of different scenarios right now that we're talking about with something like this. And there's still, again, a 20 to 30% chance, I would say, of us not seeing a big winter storm here around, again, the first weekend of January. Now, with all that said, I am personally confident that we are going to be seeing something in terms of a winter storm, and I do think we are going to be dealing with some pretty heavy snow in a lot of areas. But again, where exactly this sets up and how intense it is are all, again, very uncertain at this point. I also want to point out with a storm like this, we could easily see some sort of severe weather with it. So areas like the Dixie Alley might want to be staying at least somewhat aware that there might be some sort of issue there around Sunday or Monday. In addition to that, the European model is showing the same sort of comps right now that we are going to see some sort of winter storm. European model is even stronger than the GFS. So it just gives you an idea here right in this time frame, by the way. It gives you an idea that there could, again, be a pretty big time winter storm here during the first week of January. Now, beyond the first week, things do become a lot more uncertain. I mean, the European model showing snow back over in Houston. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, this is just kind of something that computer models seem to spit out around this time of the year, that it shows a ridiculous scenario where we could see snow near Houston. I'm not saying it's not going to happen or it's never happened before. It's just, again, a very low chance at this point. If you see something like that on social media where it shows snow in Florida and it's a 7+ day forecast, just don't buy it, because again, it's almost undoubtedly not going to happen. And if a computer model is showing the snowfall accumulation over 7 days out, again, there's a pretty good chance it's not going to happen. Now, in terms of total snowfall accumulation over the next few days, again, we're going to have that little snowmaker here across areas like the central and northern plains and perhaps back over into the Great Lakes. Again, a few inches of snow possible out of this. Nothing really too significant. There will be a few spots near maybe a foot back over in northern Nebraska, but that's really about it. Not a significant snowfall maker. Here's where things get a lot more interesting, though. Again, that winter storm that we just talked about comes into play sometime around this upcoming weekend. We could be talking about a widespread 6 to 18 inches of snowfall if it ends up happening. Again, there's still a bit of an if factor since it's not really set in stone yet, since it's a little over 7 days out from now. But again, confidence is increasing that we're going to see something. Where the heaviest snow falls and all that sort of stuff is very uncertain. The European model, once again, is much more aggressive. It shows a much more significant amount of snowfall in some areas, like 2 to 3 feet of snow. Again, I'm not buying that yet because we just don't have enough information here since it's still over 7 days. One thing I will point out, though, we're more confident that we're going to be seeing some significant lake effect snow in New York over the next several days, and we can easily see feet of snow back over near areas like Watertown, New York, and also just south of Buffalo. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. We do daily forecasts on this channel.
Whew. That's a lot to unpack. A lot to unpack. So I wanted to chime in on that. That's why at least I was speaking about with all of the planetary activity going on right now, because it's about to be wild. You're seeing all of these different you're seeing so many different planetary bodies come together, and all of these different connections got everything all over the place. Stuff that's just unheard of, ain't never seen. So it's like, shout out to the people doing their videos. So I think it's important because I just spoke on with Venus and in the days with Venus, and then get into planetary alignments that have not been seen by, our generations of people, and so the ability to showcase these things and for the events to happen at such much more of a astronomical level, like far out to where it's just got people just like, oh my goodness, this has never happened in 100 years, or every once in a blue moon, and then this year we got a blue moon, so it's like these things play a part. They play such a beautiful part when we start really dissecting these things. I showed that because of the amount of activity that is happening in the weather, in the patterns, and the alignments, and the times that we're living in right now. And so um, these are speaking. You can see within, the clouds that, you know, heavenly bodies just walk amongst us. You see in the trees, you see in the water, you see in everything around us, and everything is moving and it's talking. Most of the time, most people don't listen because they'd rather be occupied with their devices and watching and being distracted like they are here on TikTok. But at least from what I'm saying, I'm at least informing the people, right? In comparison to sitting there jumping out of birthday cakes into a bed of nails type of stuff that people doing on some weirdo stuff, clout chase. I try to inform you on things on a deeper scale that maybe like, nah, I ain't pay attention or whatever like that. Sidebar, I wanted to bring this in because numbers always mess with me. So I know most people have probably heard by now, but Jimmy Carter passed away. He was 100 years old. And so he had already been gone. The head of the eagle was already gone. All three heads of the eagle. So they plan on doing his funeral on January 9th. And then when I was just like, what's going to be on that day? I don't know. But the numbers, the moment that I get that, my mind races with numbers. And January 9th, 2025. So 1, 9, 25. If you add up the 25, it turns into 9. So it's 1, 9, 9. And then I wind up looking at, and then I reversed it, and I was like 991. And I just happened to pull up. I'm gonna actually just put that up right now because I think this is interesting. That my mind just went directly to that. So if he's getting buried on January 9th, 2025, the angel number message 119 is a message from your angels to step up to your soul purpose and maintain positive thoughts, ideas, and ideals for your next steps, about your next steps. What is special about the number 119? It is centered triangular. It is a centered triangular number. That is interesting. It is a prime number and the fourth part of a prime quadruplet. 191, 193, 197, 199. Thus, its additive persistence is 3, and it is the smallest number of the persistence 3. That's so interesting. It's so interesting. My mind just started when I started going into investigative mode about so much stuff after that. But that's just a 199 number. Let me read this. Spiritual message believed to be sent by angels of the universe. 119, like others, holds special significance and others offers guidance on your life's path. It serves as a reminder to align your thoughts, actions, and intentions with your higher purpose. And then when I flipped the number and I made it 991, then it went down to this. It said number 991 can have multiple meanings, including an emergency number and an angel number. The emergency number is 991, is the emergency number for the police. Help! It's so angel number, the angel number 991 is said to represent a period of spiritual growth and awakening. It is also a sign to embrace the transformative energies that come with this period and to trust the spiritual journey. It's interesting. Am I reaching? Great glory. I don't know if I'm reaching, but I don't think I am. I think I was pointing accurately right on point. So yeah, I wanted to bring that to the attention. And then with that in mind, and then it was this one I wanted to bring up. So, shalom, brother man. I'm shooting live on YouTube, so the videos and the audio, you may not hear it on YouTube, but it's playing on my YouTube. You may not hear it on TikTok, but it's on my YouTube. So being able to hear it on my YouTube.
Hey, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Sunday night. It is the Earthmaster out here about 11:02 p.m. California time. Getting a late night update in here on this Sunday, December 29, 2024. The latest activity here on the Earth 3D globe shows a little point 2 there across California. We'll get to earthquake activity in just a minute. We want to cover the space weather activity. Man, we are rocking and rolling on the sun here with a number of large flares here in the last 24 hours. You can see right now on the UV filter image here of the sun, discrete sunspots showing some flaring right now. And man, right now it looks like a M1.2 coming in following another X flare from, let's see, which sunspot was that? Looks like this region up here on the northwestern quadrant of the sun. So there's a number of very active regions there on the sun that's been throwing off a bunch of M flares. And we are still looking at a major threat here of seeing some further X flare activity with a 3% chance here from a number of the sunspots there that are currently facing the Earth. M flare at 80%, C flare around 99% chance there. And aurora event possible here on Monday evening. By the way, the X flare a little bit stronger than the previous one that we've seen here last 24 hours. This one up around an X 1.5 or so. With the location of that X flare, more than likely, I don't think that will be geo-effective from this area. If it did produce a CME, we'll have to wait for the latest imagery from the Space Weather Prediction Center folks there. If things change, then we could see some Earth-directed plasma. But right now we have a potential solar storm here for Monday night. That's tomorrow night. I know it's technically it's Monday in certain areas out here, but here in California we're still Sunday night. KP index up around the 6 to 7 range. The solar ham site showing 6 to 7. That would make it up around a G3 class storm. Now the view line here for the auroras tomorrow night could venture down at least into this area right here where that red line is, and that's it covers a portion of Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, Nebraska area, Great Lake through the northeast. Now, of course, overhead got a better potential of seeing the auroras tomorrow night, Monday night. Don't think we're going to see them down in Northern California unless something changes with the bulk of the plasma. If it's much denser than forecast, and then we could see maybe a little bit better viewing. But right now, I don't think that's going to happen. But hey, if you're above this line here, you got a decent shot of seeing the auroras for Monday night. So watch for that. Overall flare threat, as I noted, there a good decent chance for seeing some X flare activity. The auroras right now fairly minimal. There's our past 48 hours of M2 plus, and there's been a number of them. We're not done yet, folks. Things are popping like crazy out here, sizzling from a number of these sunspots. So be on guard for some further X flare activity. Earthquake activity here. Start off on the West Coast. Got a number of earthquakes out here. More recently, a 3.3 out here around the, it shows Bidwell, Fort Bidwell, California, but this is actually over here in Nevada near the Sheldon contiguous area. This used to be called the Sheldon National Antelope Refuge. I was out here a few years back investigating an earth swarm, and there's a lot of old volcanic activity out there, a lot of obsidian all over the place. I was literally driving on a dirt road that had sharp obsidian everywhere. I'm surprised I didn't get a flat tire, but 3.3 coming in this evening into that area. No swarming right now, but getting a little bit of earthquake activity ramping up there in Nevada. A lot of it's been here across western Nevada recently, as noted there on the map. So continue to keep an eye on it. There's definitely some strain out here against the Cascadia and the North American and the Pacific Plate boundary. Here's some activity stirring up throughout the last 24 hours there across the California, centered roughly down here across the southern end, extreme southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. Now this is a the Mendocino fault zone here, northern edge of the San Andreas Fault. Cascadia subduction zone does venture down south here, so continue to keep an eye on that. There was a 4-pointer out there earlier this morning. Up north here, one earthquake on the Cascadia, a 2.7 this afternoon. That's 18 miles deep here, not associated with the surface fracture that you see there on the map. So that's associated with the subduction zone. And the tremor activity tonight, I was checking it out. There's nothing going on, at least nothing being reported. Now, there has been times in the past here where we've had elevated tremor and they had some issues with their computer systems out here. I don't know if that's the case or not, but yeah, it's been a few days here, literally no tremor. I find that hard to believe. Look at that. In last week, only 49 epicenters of tremor here, so things are super duper quiet. Further down south here, a little bit of movement across the Bay Area. Nothing big going on there for now. Southern California, roughly about the same as this morning. I don't think we had anything further coming in there across Southern California. 2.7 near the Borrego Springs area early this morning. Across the rest of the country here is noted minimal activity across the oil field there. There's that odd earthquake out in Ohio. I guess this is the only earthquake ever being reported here in this region, this specific area out here in history. So a little odd. Now there is, there's some hazard zones down south. There's been some larger earthquake activity, and of course the New Madrid seismic zone. It does sit out here, in some variation of some fault systems. I don't think there is actually any faults out there. Let me take a look here at the satellite imagery, see what we have. A lot of flat land out there, that's for sure. It's out there underneath the field at about 6 miles deep. Hard to say. I don't know if there's any pumping operations out there or not. Not too familiar with this area. It could actually have maybe something to do with, water usage there underneath the area. I mean, 6 miles, that's pretty deep underneath the area. So a little odd one. Kind of puzzled a little bit on that earthquake, but keep an eye on the area. The rest of the model here, one earthquake up into the Alaska area in the last hour. Aside from that, getting some swarming out here across the Taiwan region. Still watching this area right here, the Mono Ridge, for some mega quake potential. Latest quake, though, shows a 5.5 here into the Philippines. Picking things up out there this evening. So obviously a little bit of adjustment going on here across this area following a bunch of activity here recently across the western areas of the Pacific Plate and south here. So all that meant pretty much putting a strain out here on this area. It's lacking some movement or lacking earthquake activity here. And that's where we're expecting that larger mega quake movement. And I say that because the Japanese government there last few months put out a mega quake warning for this ridge. It's a subduction zone that's capable of producing large earthquakes in excess of 8.0, and it's up on the regular interval of time frame in terms of another earthquake. So time has passed, drain has built up, earthquake cycles occur, and that's why they put out that megaquake warning. Right now, no megaquake. Hard to say if we're going to finish off 2024 without an 8-pointer, but that's up. Should be coming up any day, and I say that because our last one was back in 2021, and we should have seen one by now. All right, the Rift Valley over here. Goodness, these guys are just rocking and rolling with earthquakes still. Latest one, a 4.4 earlier, 5.1, one of the larger quakes in the sequence of events here. Got about 18 earthquakes here in the last week, and it's just out there in the Great Rift Valley region. It's an area that, well, it's not the map I wanted, but this is kind of what it looked like if you look at the Rift Valley. This is the African Rift Valley, but this is somewhat similar as new land being formed and whatnot. But yeah, something's brewing out there. Could enhance some volcanic activity here soon. Have to keep an eye on that. Fairly active across this area of the globe, as noted. A lot of earthquakes happening out there right now. Nothing big for now. 5.1 across the Vanuatu area. Got a decent amount of swarming stirring up there in Chile right now. You guys see that? 3.7, 2.5, some larger earthquake activity in there as well, following that 5.5 earthquake earlier this evening. That is on the Peru-Chile Trench. The responsible party for producing the world's largest earthquake, a 9.5, back in 1961. So that's a little bit further north than that 9-pointer. That was a little bit further south down here. But anywhere along the Peru-Chile Trench, if there's enough strain built up here, we can see a megaquake. Right now, there's a pair of 5s roughly at the area where we'd expect the strain to build up. And I would say there's a decent amount of swarming happening specifically in that area. So we'll watch that. That could stir up some large activity here soon. Let me see if I got a Chile station up here. I don't. Let me add that up here real quick. Station down here I like to keep keyed up. Right about here. Let's see if this is working. Which it is. So there's some of that earthquake activity coming into the seismos. I'll adjust that. We don't need that many there on the graphs, but yeah, I got to watch that. Maybe that's where the next 8-pointer is going to hit. Pretty decent swarm up here too across the Middle America Trench. So we got 2 major subduction zones here showing that elevated activity. Quite a bit happening up there. Whole bunch of 4s there along the Middle America Trench. USGS showing some of those, 2 of them, near the Santiago area into the Middle America Trench. 6.2 miles deep as well. That's rather odd. But we'll continue to watch it, folks. Elevated activity out here for sure. Let's see what else we got. 3.1 New Zealand right now, it looks like. Well, we'll kind of keep an eye on things here. It's just, I mean, there's a number of active swarming areas all over the place. All right, we'll take a look here at the Hawaii Kilauea volcano area real quick. See if we're still in the eruption stage here. Excuse me. Oh yeah, I would say we are still rocking and rolling out there from that one little area up against the crater wall there, spewing out quite a bit of lava, filling up that lava lake area of Kilauea volcano. Quite active. Latest update there was put out this morning. They just noted that there's been no unusual activity, just kind of a free flow there of the magma up to the surface to create that current ongoing eruption. Storm Prediction Center, no major severe weather threats for now. Things are starting to change here, and as we enter into the new year, we are going to notice that pattern change here with high pressure ridging out across it. Well, that is new out here. I'll take that. That wasn't out there in this morning's update. So, yeah, I'll take some more rain before it dries up. Looks like around the 2nd or 3rd of January, California getting in on a little bit of precipitation, and then things start to change there. Look at that cold air dipping down into the Gulf of Mexico. That's some crazy Arctic air coming down here with some snow on the map. So maybe Oklahoma, Texas, northern Texas. You guys looking for some snow? Well, it looks like it may be coming here. A couple massive areas just dropping down a lot of cold air from the north. That's quite unusual to see the weather patterns here coming straight from the north. Normally it's from west to east, but that is a lot of cold air coming down there. Look at that mess. Look at that mess around the 15th of January. Ice down south of, that almost looks like Houston. Does Houston, well, I think Houston gets some snow on occasion. But, yeah, pretty interesting. All right, folks, I'm going to jump off here. Continued earthquake activity there in Chile. I'll just, we'll stay safe.
In other global climate stories, big waves of up to 13 feet are pummeling the coast of Ecuador and Peru, leaving scores of ports closed and at least 3 people dead. Ecuador's Secretary for Risk Management said an extreme event was occurring and warned that similar phenomena could be expected in the future. In neighboring Peru, almost all ports were closed because of the constant battering of the waves. According to the head of the Naval Oceanographic Department's forecast, the big waves will continue in coming days, and it is expected to calm down and to return more to normal in the first days of January. The head of the Civil Defense Unit in Peru's Callao region said that climate change is behind these sorts of anomalous waves. Jetties and public squares submerged in some parts of Peru, sending residents fleeing to higher grounds. According to the Peruvian Navy, the waves are being generated off the U.S. coast by winds along the ocean's surface. Many beaches along the central and northern stretches of the country were closed to prevent risk to human life. Many fishing boats were damaged, while those that were spared were still unable to work in the dangerous conditions.
We have integrated police forces with the municipal police, civil defense, city maintenance in all areas of the municipality to keep control and prevent personal injuries or casualties due to the wave phenomenon.
The 31 fishermen stranded in the swell were rescued by the Navy, while one told local radio that around 180 more remained at sea. Big waves were also seen crashing into the central Chilean coast in Vina del Mar, sparking warnings from authorities. Callao, which sits adjacent to the capital Lima and is home to Peru's largest port, has closed several beaches and barred tourists and fishing boats from venturing out.
The Earth-facing side, also some on the far side, the biggest now being a 1.6 X-class flare, boom shakalaka, from Sunspot Group 3936. In fact, this was a 1.6 and a 1.1 X-class flare, though in general it was just a long duration solar flare. We're still awaiting coronagraph imagery for this to see if it pushed out a coronal mass ejection, but just looking at this 131 angstrom SUVI imagery here, we do see a push of material off the surface in this direction, more towards the west. And so it is likely that this did dislodge part of the corona and flung it out into space, though it's likely going to go ahead of the Earth to some degree, though there may be an Earth-directed component. So after countless M-class flares yesterday and a 1.1 X-class flare as the peak, we now have an even stronger X-class flare today, December 30th, Universal Time, with this 1.6 X-class flare. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm your space weatherman, Stefan Burns. Here we are looking at radio propagation across the globe. We see that R3 radio blackout occur right over Australia and Southeast Asia. And effectively what this is showing here is the sunlit side of the Earth. But when we have big explosions on the sun, known as solar flares, they release more vibrational wavelengths of light like extreme ultraviolet light and X-ray light. And that causes greater ionization of the ionosphere, the uppermost part of the atmosphere, which has a weak plasma to it. And so it causes this signal degradation. We see that effectively blasted Australia and Southeast Asia, degrading radio propagation characteristics for a while at that time. Now starting to subside as I'm filming this. It was a pretty long duration flare. Let's give that X-ray flux a direct look. Here we have our past 30 hours or so of X-ray flux as measured by the GOES satellite in geostationary orbit at 5.6 Earth radii. And so we can see all these solar flares that have occurred. They are measured by their X-ray flux. Every single spike here is basically an M-class flare. Anything over this line, if it's a spike, it's an M-class flare. We see that 1.1 X-class flare that I covered in my live stream earlier right here, just barely getting into that X-class territory. We see that here, the highest designation possible for a solar flare. There is a gamma designation, a designation that is at an X10 and beyond, but that's not used by everyone. So you go from A class all the way to S class, and we are only down in this range during solar minimum. During solar maximum, it becomes more common to be in the C, M, and X class range. You're only reaching M and X during big periods of solar activity, like right now, where you have more than probably 24 M-class flares clustered in here, and now with this 1.6 X-class flare, and as I mentioned earlier, actually a double flare if you want to be really precise, because we see this 1.6 right here. I can get the cursor on there, and we see it's 1.6 or so at the top, a 1.59 and also 1.63. You combine those, you get 1.6, and then it goes down and then briefly goes back up again right here. That's that 1.1. So technically it is a double solar flare, but really just one long duration push of energy from the sun. These magnetic reconnection events are occurring just off the surface, emitting light photons outwards that then reaches our planet in just 8.3 minutes, causing that shortwave radio blackout. There are a few ways that we can look at the sun. For example, we can image what's happening on the surface and we can get close, or we can look at what's happening in the solar corona and in general how that bleeds out into the solar wind. So here we have our C3 coronagraph, and this allows us to see what's pushed off the sun and what may be heading towards Earth as a solar storm. This goes back to the 29th of December, the beginning universal time, up to now. So it's about 26 hours of data showing all that activity that's occurred over the past 26 hours and a little bit more. We see a whole bunch of these pushes off the center here. So just watch this. We get a faint one right there. Then we get a big full halo right there. And then we get a couple more, specifically right there is another. We see this circle right there. That white circle is the sun. They put an occluding disk over it, so they represent the size of the sun with that white circle. And then this is all the solar corona bleeding out into the solar wind. You see the stars behind the sun there. So when you have these waves of energy propagate out like this towards you, looking at the coronagraph, you either have a solar storm headed towards Earth, or it is an optical illusion. You have a solar storm headed away from the planet because there was an eruption on the far side. But in fact, all the activity here seems to be Earth directed because the Earth facing side right now has all the sunspots on it. Sunspot counts are over 250, almost at 300, which is a very high value for a solar cycle in general. We are in solar cycle 25 maximum. We've seen solar activity like this before back in May of 2024, back in August, back in October, and now we're seeing it again at the very end of the year. We are still awaiting fresh coronagraph imagery for that long duration 1.6 X-class flare, and that is what's going to definitively tell us whether we have a coronal mass ejection that launched from that flare and whether it's headed towards Earth or not. But we do know there's already a coronal mass ejection headed our way. We have a solar storm inbound. We have our space weather model from the UK Met Office to give a sense of what type of impact that's going to be and the time of it. So impact is on December 31st at approximately 1400 Universal Time. We see this plasma wave launch from the sun. This is all from activity on the 29th. Here we see this plasma wave. Also in our south-north view, this is our top-down view, sun, the earth, looking on the ecliptic plane. So pretty much a surefire square shot hitting the earth on the 31st. NOAA has issued a G3 geomagnetic storm warning. For that, the scale rating goes to 5. So this is a geomagnetic storm that's in the middle, but already that's pretty powerful. So we're going to have aurora move from the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle to more high to mid latitudes. If you're in Canada, you're very likely to see aurora. If you're in Northern Europe, you're very likely to see aurora. If you are maybe perhaps even in the northernmost part of the United States, there's a high likelihood you will see aurora on New Year's Eve, bringing in the new year 2025. And an interesting modifier to this is the fact that we have a new moon on the 30th. So one day before this solar storm impact, the moon will be positioned in front of the earth and the sun. And when it gets to December 31st, the moon is effectively still positioned pretty much in front of the earth and the sun, taking some of the brunt of any solar storms that will sweep by. We have some data here going from 1874 to 1954. So this is 80 years of data connecting geomagnetic disturbances with the phase of the moon. It's really interesting because we see that there are greater geomagnetic disturbances during the full moon, which is when the moon is in Earth's magnetotail. We're able to interact with the plasmasphere. Remember, a geomagnetic disturbance is a change in the magnetic field strength. And so it's a connection of the plasmasphere, the ionosphere, magnetic field, a whole bunch of things. But what's really clear, what really stands out with this data from this time frame is that you have the least amount of geomagnetic disturbances during a new moon. It doesn't mean you have none. We see here our scale rating, but in general, you have less and they're of a lesser severity. So we do have a little bit of a contradictory nature occurring and unfolding on the 30th and the 31st, where we have this new moon, but now we have quite a few solar storms inbound and they look pretty large. And so we'll see how the two work together. But it's very likely that this is not going to cancel out these solar storms. It may just lessen their impact a little bit more than some people may expect. What we see with the solar passing by the moon is that it creates disturbances in the solar wind. And so those disturbances are kind of hard to model. We don't know if that's going to make the storm more severe or less severe. But in general, we see that with this data set, the new moon being in front of the Earth, in between the Earth and the sun, actually reduces the severity of geomagnetic disturbances. Whereas when the moon is behind us in the magnetotail, we get stronger geomagnetic disturbances. So NOAA has that G3 warning out. It could be slightly weaker than that, but now with this new solar activity headed our way, very likely from that long duration 1.x class flare, perhaps it needs to get bumped up. Just in general, we have some pretty big impacts coming. And not only do we have solar storm impacts coming, we also may have some volcanic activity occurring in Ethiopia sooner rather than later. This is a developing story, but we've had a earthquake swarm near some volcanoes in Ethiopia along the Rift Valley. Here we have Fatale volcano, we have Dofan up here, also Baru in this region in general. And look at all these magnitude 4 earthquakes, even a magnitude 5.1 in just the past 24 hours. And what's interesting about this is that this first started back in October. There was a sequence of magnitude 4 and greater earthquakes accompanied by hydrothermal activity and ground deformation. So they saw ground deforming during that period of time. They saw some geysers, some steam explosions, clearly indicative of new magmatic intrusions occurring in this area. Mount Fatale there being a pretty large volcano that's erupted for a few hundred years. The other thing to keep in mind with this is that there is no regional seismic network here that is publicly accessible as far as we know. And so all these earthquakes have only been measured with the global seismic network, which typically requires like a magnitude 4 or greater to get put on the map because it needs to have a sufficient strength. And so the fact that we're measuring so many magnitude 4s just in the past week, if we go back to October, it's quite a lot more, shows you that there's a whole bunch of activity here because we're not picking up the magnitude 3s, the magnitude 2s, 1s, and even the negative magnitude earthquakes that accompany things like volcanic activity and magmatic intrusions. And so this is developing pretty quickly, it seems. We'll just have to wait and see if there's any new ground deformation that's been occurring with this recent activity. But that magnitude 5.1 is the most recent earthquake and it is the strongest one yet in this week sequence. And so this is another area that I'm watching very closely. We don't see action here that often, but it is the Rift Valley. We have the plates actually separating apart and there's a whole string of volcanoes there. So it looks like Fatal Volcano, Dauphin, or Baru, or all three of them perhaps, could have some significant volcanic activity in the weeks or months ahead. And lastly, we still have a lot of activity in the Schumann resonances out of Tomsk, Russia, measured by the Space Observing System. Here we are looking at the background vertical electric field. So we're looking at the vibrations that exist in the atmosphere in this vertical direction because you have this electric current that runs from the surface to the ionosphere. This is 0 hertz up top, 40 hertz down below for the spectrogram. We see our power legend here. Indigo is low power, goes up to green, medium power, and then red and white there is high power. You see that this big power wave has been pushing through this region and the weather there has only just been hazy. So it's not the type of weather that you would expect to get something like this to occur, like a rainstorm passing overhead, which is electrified, or a thunderstorm, or even snow. It hasn't been having those conditions, and we've been seeing an increase in the background vertical electric field as well out of Cumiana, Italy, and also for the British Isles. And so in general, there's been an increase in the amplitude for the Schumann resonances, these natural wavelengths of light that are created by the Earth that naturally resonate with her, that overlap with our own biologic rhythms. So a lot of interesting things happening right now, not only with our sun, but also here on Earth. If you like to stay present, please subscribe to the channel. Again, I've been your host, Stefan Burns. I will keep.
It's very interesting. Great glory. I bring these videos for a reason. I bring them for beautiful reasons. Because the evidence is. I mean, even in the comments. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, didn't expect to see that. Didn't expect to see that. Anyone else's sleep messed up? Anyone else have insomnia, physically exhausted, and also super hungry? This Christmas period is the weirdest and heaviest it has ever been. Everyone can feel something. The past few nights, dreams have been intense, can't sleep that good, and ears are ringing loudly. Do you feel it is as a physical heaviness in the heart, or is it just me? Headaches are common for many I know. Yes, I sleep a couple hours, then wide awake again. Am I tripping when I show this? It's making sense. A couple of days ago, really feeling it here in Queensland. Slept most of the day, incredibly strong energy and lots of symptoms. Thanks for mentioning Ethiopia. There is like an earthquake every hour. Heavy feeling and headache yesterday during M flares. Tonight woke up with heart palpitations and anxiety. I am not sleeping well for the last 5 nights. Up most of the night, reading to try to get tired. 2 nights, heavy headaches, and I never get headaches. Am I tripping? Totally aching all over today and edgy. I'm in Australia and I woke up at this morning seeing golden lights flashing behind my eyes. It was pretty intense. I knew all day that these symptoms were about solar activity at the very least. So yeah, this is definitely on a very serious tip right now. This is very serious. This is very serious, people. I bring these videos for a reason. The universe is about to play a game of billiards with the planets throughout 2025. Everybody got all these great plans, and we're going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. Y'all about to get hit with so many okie dokes. Y'all about to get the holy audible called every moment, every second, every day, every week, every month. It's about to be some real top flight security of the world, Craig. Why is it not playing no audio? Let's stop sharing. Then let's go back. What it do, y'all? See? But I bring these things for a reason. So, as you can see, this whole year has had so many different events that have affected people. And I wanted to show the sun. I wanted to show the moon. I wanted to show all of the planets. I wanted to show Venus. I wanted to see the dates because this is one intricately masterpiece scenarios that are going on, and I'm just like, they're just coming to me like I'm an oracle, whatever you want to call me. I'm just humble servant of the Most High. I'm just a humble servant of the Most High. And I am here doing Ezekiel 33 and blowing a horn on any and everything. That nobody's exempt. Everybody's in this cafeteria lunch line about to get these cold potatoes. Because the Most High ain't playing no more. Literally, he's not playing no more.
'24 is upon us. Weekend of 2024 is upon us, and that means that the holiday travel season is also coming to a close. New Haven's Tweed Airport saw a big increase in travelers this season. That has then led to several concerns in and around the airport. Your reporter Owen Kingsley joins us live from Tweed to explain. Owen.
Well, Amanda, during peak days and hours this holiday season, this area has been sort of described as a sea of brake lights as people come to pick up friends and loved ones who are traveling in for the holidays. Now, according to AAA, holiday travel is expected to be up almost 3% from last year, breaking the record set in 2019 pre-pandemic. With more travelers comes longer lines in parking lots, security, and just navigating the airport. Travelers have complained about being able to get in and out of Tweed. New Haven police have had officers here to help, but neighbors say it's not making a difference. Tweed recently added Breeze Airways in addition to their existing Avelo flights, and as frustrating as it is for some, travelers say the location is still convenient enough.
This airport needs an expansion, but it's a trade-off. You have the convenience of traveling 20 minutes, at least from where I live, to get to an airport versus JFK or versus Bradley.
Earlier this week, Tweed addressed some of these concerns, saying that they've raised their staffing levels, but are also blaming just the congestion of more holiday travelers, but the time of year, the weather we're experiencing, and having to de-ice planes, sometimes delaying flights. Your reporter live in New Haven.
I bring these for a reason, because they're nothing but Prime Black's cookie crumbs. Just gonna leave these scrubs. Just gonna leave these all over the place. These are very interesting. Like I said, just catch the words as I'm throwing them to you, because I guess this video is gonna be marking my words. I guess I'm gonna be like, I told you so. I'm gonna just go ahead and just get it all out, because I ain't gonna hold back on this one, on none of these videos, on none of what I gotta say. It's not nothing. It's nothing I'm saying. I'm being led by the Spirit. Do not travel. You don't need to go nowhere. Stay put. Talking to my beloved people as I'm sitting still. Be at peace, because we are going to be needing as much prayer, much meditation, introspection, because it's going to get very ugly for them. It's going to get very ugly. I just showed you all of the weather across the whole world. I probably ain't even finished because I got so many tabs, but every single intricate reasoning behind all of that is going on. It's a global, like, shake weight of uncomfortable, unfair, and unfortunate circumstances and events for people all across the world right now. A lot of people are getting hit in all ways. Just wanted to bring it to you because a lot of the stuff that's going to be happening is going to be completely not of this world. It'll be unheard of. It's not going to make sense to nobody. It's going to exhaust so many people trying to throw so many extra resources at all of these different things. It's going to be just a free for all, just trying to put a Band-Aid over the sinking Titanic. We've had this year to be the marker for what's to come. And I just love.
It was a summer of deadly heat. 2024 now holds a record for the hottest day ever. Climate change is fueling a new normal of extreme weather hitting at a constant pace. This year's back-to-back hurricanes Helene and Milton proved to be a devastating and deadly 1-2 punch in the southeast. Al Roker takes a look back on this hard-hitting year.
Two deadly storms making landfall only 2 weeks apart. Hurricanes Helene and Milton, leaving a trail of historic destruction across southeast.
Helene not only bringing hurricane-force winds to the region, but also a historic storm surge.
On September 26th, Hurricane Helene makes landfall near Perry, Florida, inundating areas with record-breaking rainfall, more than a foot in some locations, including the mountains of Carolina. Catastrophic damage caused by the intense flooding leaves more than 200 people. Helene, now the fourth deadliest storm in modern history. Additional emergency search and rescue teams race in. Entire towns cut off from communication. No power and water for weeks. Then 2 weeks later, Hurricane Milton aim at nearly the same location, Florida's hard-hit West Coast. A climate change-fueled storm, Milton intensified from a Category 1 to a Category 5 in just 24 hours, making it the fastest case of extreme rapid intensification ever in the Atlantic. The storm spawning a record-breaking 54 tornadoes, including a rare EF3 tornado. Those devastated by Helene and Milton are still recovering from the catastrophic damage to their homes and infrastructure. The dollar amount of these storms still being tallied and is expected to be a staggering $50 billion each. But at toughest of times, communities came together to help their neighbors. I got to see firsthand the power of resilience. There you go. All right, do you need baby wipes or anything?
Diapers. Keep us in your prayers. And we're resilient. We will come back. It's just going to take a while.
Al Roker, NBC News.
It's going to take a while. We going to come back. She is holding on, baby. She said, we gon' come on back. I wanna hear them good old spirituals. I wanna hear you coming back. Oh yeah, you wait. Oh yeah, you wait. Oh yeah, oh yeah, you wait. We come back stronger than ever. Yeah. She said it. She said it. They said they had what? 86. We know the number. They lying about Katrina. They lie. Who they be lying? That's how many they said. She said, we coming back stronger. Ain't that what she said? Be impeccable with your word, right? We're going to be impeccable with our word, right? They said they're going to come back stronger than ever. It's just going to take a while, right? How long is the while going to take? How long is the while going to take? That is a very interesting question, lady. Because we in the winter time right now. And I just showed you that you ain't even going to make it through what's about to come. I just showed you what's about to come. Wow. Praise the Most High. Because even after...
It's been 3 months since Hurricane Helene hit eastern Tennessee. Helene's high wind speeds and surging floodwaters brought death and destruction across the area. Parts of East Tennessee are now unrecognizable after the storm. Areas like Unicoi, Greene, Cocke, Johnson, and Washington County continue to rebuild homes and businesses. In East Tennessee, 17 people were killed in the storm, according to TEMA. 8 people died in Unicoi County, 2 people were killed in Cocke County, 4 in Washington County, and 1 death was reported in Greene, Knox, and Johnson counties. In western North Carolina, more than 100 deaths were reported. Over the past 3 months, we've heard stories of resilience, hope, and community as people rebuild their lives and grieve the loss of loved ones. Help is still available to people affected by Hurricane Helene. Applications for individual FEMA assistance.
Ooh-wee. 3 months. She said it's going to take a while. How long is a while? Because you got this year just zoom, just sped on through, and it's about to speed on even faster. It's going to soon be hot. It's going to soon be windy and moist. Mosquitoes. How long? I mean, it's been 3 months so far, and this is just one location. We're talking about every location right now. When it comes to when I start bringing stuff up, I'm just trying to give you the example of how long and how hard it's been for places to recover. I've driven across this whole country. I even worked in these locations. Many of these places have not recovered and never will recover unless blessed hands like the people of the nation go back and re-bless these lands with no perversion. So the fact that all of these is going on right now, it's going to be a very long time, because it's, as long as you're there, you're going to be going through the deep scrubbing and deep rinsing process. And you're going to get caught up in the deep wash. If you're a prideful dumbass, still, we're going to build back better. We're going to make America great again. We're going to do all of this stuff. Why ain't your fellow neighbor helping you out? Can't say I'm your neighbor because you ain't never treated me like your neighbor. No. So who's your neighbor? Who can you call to? Who can you run to share this messy place, oh baby? Who can you run to? Who can you run to? Ain't that so sweet? Who you gonna run to? It's so bad that we about to, man, I show these things for a reason.
Well, this Christmas, while many are unwrapping gifts, one Oklahoma family is gearing up to hit the road to help those displaced by Hurricane Helene. News 4's Sid Batzloff is in Hydro with the inspiring story.
One Hydro family is spending their Christmas renovating these campers to bring to hurricane victims in North Carolina.
It's what the season is really about. It's what it's all about. It's not about us, it's about them.
What started as a plan to deliver one camper turned into something much bigger.
We had one camper bought, and 3 more came together real quick for us to where we could buy. And then everybody's from the community and just around the woodwork just trying to help.
The family turned to Facebook asking for donations so they could provide more than just the campers.
Asked for anybody had any stuff, blankets, sheets, pots, pans, stuff like that to stock it, that we would be happy to take it. And man, they showed up everywhere. I opened the door and my porch is full of stuff.
The family has spent the last week preparing each camper, filling them with the donations.
We clean and work until 9, 10 o'clock, sometimes 11, just trying to get it done so we can get gone.
Morning after Christmas, Olita Walker and the rest of the group will make the 1,000-mile-plus drive to Spruce Pine, North Carolina to deliver the campers to displaced families.
At the time in that area, there's over 20 families that are in tents still, and that's not acceptable.
Walker hopes their story encourages others to lend a helping hand to those in need this holiday season.
Get out there, do the right thing. If you can, not everybody can do it, but if you can, do your part. We're all humans. We all come into this world with nothing and we'll leave with nothing.
In Hydro, Sydney Batzloff, Oklahoma's News 4.
Oof. That was a whole different. Was those feelings a little different? So the feelings is a little different when you're losing, right? You're right. Venus gonna be in Capricorn. Yep, I see that. Oh, amazing times we're living in. That sounds like a little bit of humility in that humility, that humble bass in your voice. it's sounding a little different now, ain't it? It's not just here. It's all over the place. It's been all over the place. We've been trying to speak up and say it and speak out, and just like, damn. Now you want us to hear you out? Is that the exchange now? Does that keep us in your prayers and, well wishes? When we went through what we went through, people said that you don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing going on. Matter of fact, you're crazy. You're this, you're that. See, you people. Yeah, we got told these things. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps is what we were told. We were told many things. And we didn't have no help. And if it was help, it was like backhanded. It was with, it was two-faced. It was two-sided. It wasn't really love or support or genuine or sincere. It was very opportunistically used against us. And so, yeah, we're starting to see all of this stuff come to fruition. You're starting to see the planetary alignment, which they have no control over. So that's a big transition to a lot of what's going on right now. Is that, oh, this is unheard of. I don't know what's going on. It's just unexplainable. People can't get no sleep. They're exhausted. I mean, obviously, playing the video games and stuff like that, you're adding on to the extra. But now, you got to worry about this. Oh, that's so much. It's like, yeah, virtue signaling. It's not about all of this, but it's about them. All I keep hearing is y'all saying y'all gonna build back better and do all these things. Where is all that superiority, being spoken about? I'm just speaking on this because it needs to be shown. And when we was victims, we was told that, hey, it must have been your fault. Right? Oh, you had to have done something to have warranted. You shouldn't have been wearing those clothes, skimpy clothes. You shouldn't have been sagging your pants. You shouldn't have done this and that. Yeah. Y'all would justify it. Y'all would George Zimmerman that shit. But now you're the victims and you're trying to expound on the same scenarios we went through. And I would definitely encourage you to accept that same energy. Not because nobody enjoys it or anything like that. It's just, hey, this is judgment, y'all. This is judgment. There's no escaping that. All of this stuff is happening like a thief in the night, literally while you sleep. Like people already ain't getting no sleep. They're getting headaches, got headaches, everything, can't even sleep. So you up all night hearing the spookies, hearing your old raggedy ass's house is creaking and making noise. Wind is ooh. I just showed you the other video with the dude. He stayed up all night. He couldn't sleep after that. He's terrified. And you got trees falling on your house. You're like, am I tripping? No, I'm not tripping. How am I tripping? What am I doing that these people? It's weather going on everywhere. I ain't even done. I ain't even done. I kept mentioning the fog.
Thanks to fog also causing flights to be delayed and even canceled at area airports, forcing travelers to adjust. This has been the
Dude, he got veneers.
Since last night. Jamal James spoke to those affected. He's live in Greenville at the Appleton International Airport with the first alert date. Jamal.
Jason, the fog that swept over northeast Wisconsin was so dense that it not only made an impact on flights leaving yesterday, but it also left a group of travelers wondering what to do earlier this morning. Just about before noon today, we spoke with Airport Director Abe Weber about their final cancellation expected for the day, and he said this could be because of yesterday's fog, and they're now waiting for another aircraft arrival. These cancellations come as fog creates an issue for pilots being able to see the runway during takeoff and touchdown. We spoke with one traveler impacted by the cancellation, and she says she didn't mind it because it gave her more time to spend with her family.
They kept delaying it. They didn't say canceled. They just kept delaying it little by little, and I realized I wasn't going to make my connection. So then I just rebooked the whole thing. But yeah, I thought, well, you know, I'm with family. I really don't have any problems with that, except I would like to get home.
If you ever
all those rebookings and all that stuff, and not everybody can sit there and have her old money like that and be able to rebook their tickets and stuff like that. So you got people who are going through hell all over the place, y'all. It's about to be, the fog is so thick and it's going to be engulfed with the snow and the sleet and the ice. It's going to be so cold. Like that whole region, that it got negative all the way down. That was pretty far down, y'all. That was pretty far down. Yeah, they may be able to stay home with family, stuff like that, but they're like, I gotta get home. I ain't trying to be around all this. Like, I need to move, but I need to move where I'm at now. This is on the sunny side of the egg. And that's what people are running into, is that they cannot commute nowhere now. Flying is about to be, it's a problem now. Anything you're doing flying right now is a problem. Shout out to the brother who got a job right now. He looks scruffy like he just been playing, GTA, and he ain't even had to be on to like the new station hiring. Brother got a job. They got a job, brother. But yeah, that's the weather. That's all over the place. So I'm showcasing this because, yeah.
Snow and ice on sidewalks increases the risk of falls and injuries. Kristen Allen is at the First Alert Safety Desk. And Kristen, what do doctors want people to know?
Well, Emerson, doctors say the risk really increases for everyone. It's regardless of your age or ability. We spoke with an orthopedic physician at Aurora Medical Center, and he says there's several preventative measures that everyone can take to stay a little bit safer. The best thing you can do is avoid uncleared and unsalted sidewalks and roads. That might mean staying inside until the pavement is clear. If you must go out, you should take short steps. It's often described as walking like a penguin with your feet pointed slightly outward and your center of gravity over your feet. Injuries from falls can be quite serious.
This time of year, we certainly see more wrist, ankle, and even fractures. And that, oftentimes does require surgery to fix some of these things. Watch your foot placement and move slowly. If you have to ask for a hand or use a railing, please cut down some of these slippery steps.
It's also important to be cautious when shoveling snow. Experts say to take your time and use the right technique. Many people underestimate the physical strain that shoveling can have on your body, leading to injuries in your back, neck, and shoulders. The best thing you can do is make sure you lift with your legs and not your back, and avoid shoveling too much snow at once.
That sounds like a privileged person who ain't been out of the house working out, who ain't took no million steps. That sounds like a privileged person that's been sitting watching Will and Grace all day, Netflixing and chilling. You just heard what she said. I'm just smacking y'all because I'm just enjoying my treats and my popcorn and enjoying entertainment, as you should too. No. So excuse me if I'm smacking in y'all ear. Well, like the lady just said, and the gentleman just said, people gonna be slipping and sliding. You mean to tell me that that elder lady ain't gonna be slipping and sliding the moment she come out of that airport? I mean, the guy just said that it's pretty expensive to get your ankle or your wrist, so you're gonna be seeing a bunch of people walking around with boots. Wrist wraps and ankle boots. What happened? Oh, I slept on that. I wasn't walking like a penguin. I didn't watch no Batman. Man, I'm just pointing out. Am I tripping? I don't know. I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm wrapping it all together. It's all wrapped together pretty nice with a bow. I would think I'll do it. Yeah, it's just you got severe. You think people gonna be able to do that? They already
At least 2
strapped.
people are dead this morning after a band of severe weather hit the south yesterday. This comes as people prepare to head home for the holidays, with severe weather causing tons of flight cancellations. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the latest.
This weekend, severe weather causing problems for travelers heading home from holiday destinations. Multiple tornadoes were confirmed across 3 states on Saturday. Parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi all experiencing high winds and heavy rain. In Galveston County, wind damage knocking down power lines. A confirmed tornado in Liverpool damaged multiple homes, and another confirmed tornado hit the town of Splendora. In the town of Alvin, this elementary school heavily damaged. Across the street, the roof ripped off this home. The mayor of the neighboring town of Manville told ABC he's grateful his town was spared and says people living in the community are working together to help those most impacted.
Governmental entities are coming together, supporting one another. Nonprofit organizations are helping out. And what makes Brazoria County so special is that each of us are stepping up to the occasion, doing what we can to take care of our neighbors in need.
Another round of severe weather in the forecast for the southeast today. The weather complicating travel plans. More than 7,000 flights were delayed, with at least another 230 canceled on Saturday. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, New York.
Ooh-wee. Yeah.
At least 4 people are.
Ooh-wee. That went right to. Let me go right to this one. Is this the one? It's close to it. I'm getting close to it. That's the one.
A large power line fell to the ground in a neighborhood in Vancouver Friday night, resulting in several spot fires, including an RV fire and multiple injuries. Stevens joins us live now in Vancouver, where that power line fell. Celine, how are the victims doing?
John, fortunately, everybody is alive, but last night, 3 of those firefighters received electrical shocks after responding to this call, and one other victim was also taken to the hospital in critical condition.
One of the neighbors I talked to said he could see flames coming off the roof from his second-story window.
Friday night around 9, the Vancouver Fire Department responded to a report report on Ash Street of a large downed power line. That power line causing fires in the neighborhood.
There were several spot fires in front of the house where the line had touched the ground and energized the ground around it. There were a couple of houses that were involved, a couple of lots, because the line was draping across several different types of things like trees and in the RV.
One neighbor says he feels for the family that owns one of the homes.
They bought the house a few years ago. They put much money into it. They renovated it. And, it's kind of a freak thing for them. Seems to have just scorched the earth right here with what we believe is a power line.
Vancouver Fire Department says there was also a victim on scene who was unable to move and calling for help. But as firefighters responded,
We were trying to extricate him from where he was at. A couple of firefighters noticed that they were getting shocked.
that victim was taken to hospital in critical condition. 3 firefighters were also taken to the hospital, with 2 returning to duty before their shift and the 3rd being kept overnight for observation.
Obviously, it's terrible.
Fire department says they don't know what caused the line to drop, and there was no significant weather in the area at the time of the event. A neighbor expressed his concern over what could have caused the accident.
If the power lines are more likely to fail due to a lack of maintenance or getting old, I would like to see the neighborhood get checked under the presumption that most power lines in the area are probably of similar age.
That man got all the answers. That man knew everything. He's the expert. Buford is the expert. He knows exactly what happened. There is no speculation. There is no accusations. He is judge, jury, and executioner because he got the Trump shoes on and he got his Trump shoes. He knows exactly what happened. Everybody getting these cold mashed potatoes. Let me go back to that. Everybody getting these cold mashed potatoes. The thing that he just said, that everybody getting it. These are skid marks of the actual, it ain't even pulling up, I don't know why they ain't. But these are skid marks of the firefighters getting towed up too. So everybody getting it. That's what I'm trying to showcase, that everybody. These people put all their money, all their life savings, everything into their house, and then it gets fried, thrown right in the holy air fryer. Tater tots, couch potatoes is getting turned into tater tots. I didn't see it. Hold up, let me see. Where is that? Literally getting these cold potatoes. They put all their money in it. That's where all their money, they doubling down on certain things because they wanted to try to renovate the house so they can try to sell it and get out of it and all that stuff. And they took on just 2-3 loans with high interest rate. And you got to understand the whole scenario of how much all of this is happening. The moment that anybody gets tripped, and everybody hates getting tripped up, with anything, getting a tooth sore or a headache or just anything, when you just going through life and everything's just all good, and you just get that one, you bump that toe that one day, and it's just everybody has life is not fair. So, but they put all their money into it and it gets burnt up. And it's like, out of all directions that the actual poles could have fell. Like, it didn't fall nowhere away from it. No, it fell right on the investment and cooked the investment. And it's showcasing to the neighbors, this is what I'm doing to your neighbor. Don't worry. I'm coming right on around the corner to come and knock on your door and end up on your shit list too. Most High is not holding no punches back on nobody. People are actually going through it, and then their fellow neighbors are witnessing these things Said he seen it from the porch. Ain't none of it ain't gonna be able to sleep. And then you're seeing so many house fires. So many house fires. And when nobody actually came to help none of our people. There's a video I got on with Flint, Michigan. You know, shout out to Flint, Michigan. You know, I would love to be out there and revitalize all of these places that used to have our people there, man. You know, Gary, Anderson, Indiana, you know, Flint, Michigan, Detroit, you know, San Bernardino, California, you name it, Long Beach, you know, where I was born and raised. I would love to be building Wakandas all over the place, you know. So at least people know what my intention is. I'm being impeccable with my word. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to be able to build. I want to build our own malls. I want to build our own businesses and structures, our own restaurants that got our women that got their own beautiful recipes that got passed down to be able to create, you know, places where people can actually go and thrive and survive and know how to actually create wealth and actually have invested interests in the buildings and the people and the things that are around them. Into, you know, like it becomes a whole ecosystem. These are things that you guys never wanted to participate or even incorporate without to making sure that we weren't involved in it. So y'all went ahead and did all of that stuff, and then y'all, no matter how many discussions we try to have, it went on deaf ears. At the moment that now you're starting to see that other groups are starting to even get their own little, you know, pie in the sky. And now everybody wants to start complaining about, oh, they got a pie in the sky. They got a pie in the sky over there too. We got to stop these little fires out. Everybody getting these cold potatoes.
Thank you. Most notably dealing with the storm damage this morning is, of course, the city of Athens. As you can see on your screen, the damage hit right in the heart of the city by the courthouse. That giant Christmas tree there fell over. A few doors blew off some hinges, and a massive tree in the town square uprooted. Now, crews were already at work picking up the damage early this morning. City leaders told me they were still learning about more downed trees and power lines around the city. The power was also out in the majority of that portion of town.
And here's another look at an area devastated in Athens. City leaders say the Veterans Museum saw some of the worst damage. As you can see now on your screen, the storm took down several parts of the structure near the building. Leaders also say several windows may have been shattered by that storm. As of now, Athens city leaders say they have not heard any reports of injuries from the storm.
Other reports of damages show downed trees and power lines in Madison, Morgan, Limestone, and Jackson counties. Most of the reports came from Morgan and Limestone counties. This was just what was reported just before 1:30 this morning. We will be back out to get a closer look at the damage as crews
said it uprooted one of the oldest trees that was in that town central. That was in the town central, pretty much. Like uprooted it like it was a bad weed, like it was an infestation, like it was a hangnail, like it was a ingrown hair or something like that. Like, it's causing so much damage at nighttime, thief in the night. Like people waking up to be able to see this, like they're waking up out of their little quiet little dreams to wake up to an actual realistic nightmare. It's like musical chairs in their community right now. Who in their block got hit? Who on their block got popped? Like this is this is like a weather drive-by, a holy weather drive-by. It's just amazing. I'm just looking at it from such a different point, you know, that it's in your face. It's in your face. The sound of somber and reporting it. The amount of emotion that is pouring out. When all of our places was going through what we were going through, y'all went right to the It's a Small World after all. Y'all went straight to the Merry Christmas while these things was happening. When people had their houses burnt up and stuff like that, apartment complexes and all that. All these horrible places that our people been living into these horrible conditions. They super cold. Y'all don't want to fix the apartments up. Y'all don't want to do nothing. You know how many raggedy ass apartments it is across the whole country that our people live in and don't have no say so on it, not even no vested interest or anything like that. And nothing ever gets fixed. And it is freezing cold. They got to use a little spot heater and the place catch on fire because you never changed out the plugs and upgraded it to the new. But you will upgrade everybody's rental cost. The value never really, ever really matched the quality. The quantity of money that you guys wanted to extract from us never matched the quality. So you're starting to see all of these things happen at an alarming rate. You're starting to see the bugs come out. You're starting to see the rats end up in people's houses, infestations. Like, the infestations is real.
Omaha City Councilman Ron Hugg is getting aggressive about the rat problem. He went door to door today handing out flyers about a new way to report rats. This comes after the sightings of the recycling center at 39th and D Streets. Hugg says there's reason to believe the rats are moving, and now residents can report where they are. The website and phone number for assistance.
That sounded real nasty. They all ended up in their houses though now. Like, you got these basements, you got all that bunker food, you got all these damn cats and all this cat food and cat litter and all that stuff. They eating all those pellets and all that stuff. Like, yeah, it's cold outside. They're not trying to be cold. If they're able to find some type of warmth and shelter, they're going to be all inside of your basement couches where you're sitting there picking your belly button and playing Call of Duty all freaking day. So you got Mickey Mouse sitting right next to you, eating up all the crumbs that you done dropped. So now you got an infestation where now they're starting to come and bubble up. They know exactly where to be. I ain't had no problems like that. I don't know what you're talking about. But it's cold. It's cold out here. When it's cold outside. Had to bring that to me. You know, 222. Get a little breaky. Breaky. What I got in here. So no, I got my beard oil. Got to show that. Got Sister Lisa. You can cop the beard oil right there. Make my beard smell good. I love the smell. I'm hooked on the smell. You won me with that one, Miss Lisa. Got the Brother Big Levi book. Cop the book. Get your spiritual background check. Know your guardian angel. These times are very important, pivotal. For all of my family out there who don't know, hey, it's a good time for you to know. So get you some of that good water in you. That good Mayan water. So we out here, baby. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe. Got my channel. So, yeah, to be continued. We're going to keep it going. So, let me go back to the video because I don't know what happened to it. But it's not only cold over there, it's cold everywhere. It's bad.
To dip after record-breaking rainfall on Friday. Well, the capital's Safdarjung Observatory reported a minimum temperature of 13 degrees Celsius for today. The Indian Weather Department has predicted temperatures to dip to 6 degrees Celsius and 5 degrees Celsius for December 30th and 31st, respectively. While no further rainfall has been forecasted for Delhi for this year, rain lashed Delhi NCR throughout Friday, with the city recording its highest December rainfall in the last 15 years. And the rain began late on Thursday around 2:30 a.m. and continued throughout the day. According to IMD data, between Thursday and Friday, the city logged 9.1 millimeter of rainfall. The total rainfall for December stands at 42.8 millimeters. As December comes to a close and the new year approaches, cold waves are set to sweep major parts of India. According to the Indian Weather Department, cold wave conditions are expected to begin in parts of North India from December 29th. Issuing a cold wave warning, the IMD stated that cold wave to severe cold wave conditions are very likely in some parts of Himachal Pradesh on December 30th and 31st. Cold wave conditions are expected in isolated pockets of Himachal Pradesh from December 29th to January 1st. Meanwhile, in Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh from December 29th to January 3rd, and over Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh and Rajasthan on December 30th and 31st.
Ooh, it is cold out there. But it's crazy because, like, this year was like the hottest it was out there. And now it's like the coldest. So before I even bring that one up, but let me bring that up because that's definitely such a strong, the intense swings. You see what I'm saying? The intense swings. The intense swings. Just got to show you that because all of this does matter. So it's not just happening in America. I'm going to show you everything.
These lakes have the potential to trigger. Indian scientists have raised alarms over the potential dangers posed by glacial lakes in the Himalayas. With 50 identified as very highly hazardous, these lakes have the potential to trigger massive glacial lake outburst, floods or GLOFs, similar to the devastating floods that occurred in Kedarnath in 2013 and in Sikkim last year. Researchers from the Indian Institute of Technology have mapped a total of 851 glacial lakes over 550 posing varying degrees of risk. Of these, 324 have been categorized as highly hazardous and 50 lakes are classified under the most dangerous category of very highly hazardous. Now, these lakes are spread across 232 square kilometers and they are located not only in India but also in neighboring Himalayan countries like China, Bhutan and Nepal. The study revealed that India has the highest number of high-risk lakes with 100 classified as highly hazardous, followed by Nepal with 52 and Bhutan with 50. The researchers conducted an analysis based on the lake's topographic features and other criteria linked to past GLOF events. They highlighted their increased vulnerability due to rising temperatures and deglaciation, socio-economic development and growing populations in these fragile mountain regions have further destabilized these environments, exacerbating the risk of catastrophic flooding further. The findings have raised concerns, particularly after major GLOF events. Glacial lakes are large bodies that sit in front of, on top of, or beneath a melting glacier. So when the temperature rises, these lakes then begin to grow larger, threatening the boundary around them. And in case the boundary breaks, huge amount of water rush down the side of the mountains, causing flash floods just like in India's northeastern. To address this very threat, India is in the process of implementing high-tech warnings systems at nearly 200 glacial lakes at risk of gulfs, with the aim of preventing future disasters and ensuring better preparedness for such events.
Oh, I'm showing you these things because they are for a reason. In these regions, this stuff is about to take place all around the whole world. And many people would rather avoid it and not speak about it. So you're talking about these regions where people are having to flee. And they're coming over here, making the point. See what I'm saying? So it's a major, you got 1 billion people in that region. You got 1 billion people, and they're looking to export them. And where would they be befitting? Right here in America. Why you think there's just such a heavy, even conversation about it? Regardless of whoever was going to be in office, it was going to be a heavy conversation about the Indian population and being able to use them as a substitute for the working class, because we're missing so many people who are in the working class right now. Why? Because they doped up. Seriously, am I tripping? No.
We are following a developing story out of Springfield. A 2-alarm fire broke out at an apartment complex on Wilbraham Road just before midnight. 22 News reporter Nicole Buddy joins us live from Springfield with the latest. Nicole?
Victoria, 12 people are without a home tonight during the middle of the holidays. This happened after a fire started in the second-story balcony just right behind me, then spreading through the home. What we know so far, according to the Springfield Fire Department, a 2-alarm fire took place shortly before midnight last night. The fire happened on the 400 block of Wilbraham Road. We spoke to one man shortly ago who said he happened to be driving past the home when he noticed flames pulling over immediately.
We ran up to the resident, knocked on the bottom door, tried to get everybody out of the house. And it's just kind of happened. Everything happened so quickly.
Why a brother always there? We always be the ones to rescue and save everybody. You know what? There's another video I just saw of us rescuing and saving. Why we always got to rescue and save? Oh man, I had to bring this up. Hold up. Yeah, I had to bring this up. Hopefully I can find it. I should be able to. It was not too far from what I was just doing. Yep, I found it. We always there at the right place, the right time, right? We just always happen to be there at the right place, the right time, right?
Now, Rashad and one other person were able to help everyone exit safely from the back end of the house. This is an apartment.
Helped everyone exit safely. 12 people helped them exit safely. Let my people go.
Apartment complex with.
Let my people go, and I'm gonna burn this down.
4 units. Neighbors telling us families and young children live here. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The Red Cross is assisting those 12 people who were left without a home tonight, and the Springfield Arson and Bomb Squad are investigating the cause of the fire. Working.
Those 12. It's amazing, huh? How that can instantly instantly change things. Yeah, you even get removed from a place that belongs to the oppressors for them to suffer. Yeah, you may take it in as that in that moment that you may be suffering, you may have lost your place, you may be out of a place, but the Most High always protects and takes care of his chosen. And never gives you more than you can handle. I wanted to bring that up because that's a very important part. That even in the midst of tribulations, we always maintain that beautiful energy, that beautiful smile, that joy, and just kept on moving, kept on going. So I wanted to be able to showcase that no matter what's going on, we always just happen to just keep it pushing. But I wanted to showcase that because you're seeing even if you're occupied and residing in their places or anything like that, they're places that they may own and rent and may have been taking all of your rent money and going to the casino and then charging you more because they need to fuel their 7 deadly sins of greed. Hitting the slot machine all day. These are the people that be there.
Yo, bro, yo. Why is he about to wait right back up? Where right? Right. Do CPR. You breathing? You breathing?
There you go. There you go.
He good. Hey, yo, I hit you too. I hit you with that knife. I just heard a shot.
Now, am I tripping when I say we always there right when people need us? And when we need them, they never there. There's somebody's son laying on the cold ass dirty street where people then walked and spit and threw up and blood and dog doo-doo and just gave up on life and quit and all that stuff. Got the liquor brew right next to him to steal. I bring these up for a reason. Because I'm watching these people down bad. Down super bad, y'all. He down and the brothers around him are all up. They up, walking upright. No standards, being a good citizen, you know what I'm saying? Walking down the street, minding their business, trying to just get home. See somebody on the street, could have just walked past them. How many times have y'all walked past us when we needed a helping hand? Maybe even some spare change just to get something to eat. But y'all would just sit there and walk right past us, actually spit or do weird shit where your little bromance shit. Yeah. But when we see somebody down and out right there, because we know how that feels, we know what these feel because, you contributed to it. Your participation in it. And the fact that you deny it, that's crazy. And denial of survival. But even with these brothers, they could have walked on past. They could have been doing what you were doing by pissing on the dude while he's like ODing right there and taking weird ass pictures and selfies and all that. Yeah. They actually helped this man and brought him back to life. You see the difference in the type of people that we are. That's why we are truly blessed. That's why we walk around with humility in our heart. striving and determined to be the greatest that we could possibly be, because we know that we may have come from something that may not have been us, may not have presented and showcased us at the greatest at our greatest points. But you guys created a society where people at their lowest points, you just perpetuate this angst of apathy and disdain and distaste for your fellow man. These brothers don't know this damn man, but they're fellow man. You see how the leading by example and the gesture that is? I want this to be seen in a complete contrast. During Jacob's trouble, this is how you guys could have been, and you chose not to. Now that we're not in Jacob's trouble no more, and now that you are in it, look how we treat you, and we showed you the example. That's what we're doing. We are showing the examples now. We are leading by example. That's who we are, and that's who we've always been. We have been great and phenomenal people. Whenever we've been up, whenever we've been down, we've always carried ourselves with grace, confidence, knowing that we are special and we are good people and we do the right thing. This is what I want to show about us. And it ain't positive. At the end of the day, I ain't biased. Nobody's exempt. But I showcase this because this does matter. Because I want this to constantly be the examples that we draw from. Because these were examples that we always lived by, but just never got showcased. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never seen them on, like, it took World Star. It took TikTok to people see things that we have, do, and whatever like that to be accepted or appreciated. Many factors, we didn't. While we do good by our people, our fellow man, our fellow stranger, love thy neighbor, and all of these things, you guys start doing the complete polar opposite. And you guys do not get your way the moment that you even lose. You're willing to take it away from somebody else. You're willing to hurt somebody else. That's the complete difference. You're willing to hurt your own. That's the complete difference. It's not easy being able to eat this truth. I know it ain't easy because our life was not easy. We've always had the mentality of wanting to help our fellow man because someday we may need that fellow help. Sometimes we may not get that opportunity. Sometimes we may get mad about it. But we find a way to just keep on moving. We find a way to keep on moving. Even when we down, we still make a way, try to stay up. And keep a smile on our face.
Bought that with the card that they gave me. Cross bought that with the card that they gave me.
Sylvia Ruiz is doing a lot better now that she's had a chance to rest.
It's a different perspective when you don't have nothing.
The remnants of her old apartment sitting just across the parking lot. The smell of smoke still in the air. Wow. Christmas Eve morning, this is what it looked like. a fire consuming 4 units at the Central Phoenix apartment complex. 10 people were put out of their homes, but like Ruiz, all thankful to get out alive.
Yes, of course. I'm thankful that somebody helped us and out of that.
Ruiz lost most of her stuff in the fire, but her apartment gave her a new place to stay for now. And that's not all. Neighbors she didn't know coming out to support her with new clothes, food, and basic supplies.
Christmas, everything was closed. So I had a neighbor, she brought us dinner, I was grateful.
There are things, though, that couldn't be replaced. Pictures, priceless keepsakes, things that meant so much to Ruiz. She says she couldn't eat or sleep for a couple days after the fire. Sometimes she just stares across to where it all happened, amazed at how close she got to the unimaginable.
It made me want to cry.
But what does bring tears to her eyes? The help of strangers who saw a neighbor in need this Christmas.
They're still good people. Yeah. There's still people that care.
Reporting in Phoenix, Josh Christian.
The Chihuahua knew there was good people. How come y'all didn't know this phone this all along? Like I said, we constantly helping y'all out of all of y'all freaking wars, and we have helped y'all so much. We have helped everybody so much. Contributed to things we normally wouldn't have done, but because of the circumstances, most of the men and women made the decisions that they had to make at the time, and hey, ain't nobody gonna judge them and hold them accountable to that. They will, and they got to deal with that with the Most High. But yeah, when you see it right in front of you, when you see the goodness of us, when you see the goodness of our people, when you truly see the goodness of the people who are the chosen of this land, then God just puts you right in front of your trauma so you can see it when you wake up. So many people are starting to see that happening right now. Seeing the badness happen to you, but the goodness come your way. Because for a lot of us didn't get no goodness coming our way. It's a lot of stuff that happened this year, y'all, and it's still happening. It's been a lot of news, been a lot of crazy news. This is the year in recap.
We took off in 2024, looking to the skies, but hit unexpected turbulence quickly when selfie video showed the harrowing moments after a door plug blew out midair on an Alaskan Airlines flight.
There was no one seated there.
It was the first of several safety issues for Boeing's 737 MAX that prompted the National Transportation Safety Board to launch an investigation and issue urgent safety recommendations. Big courtroom drama captured the attention of people across the globe.
Mr. President!
Former President Donald Trump was ordered to pay nearly $500 million in 2 unrelated civil trials before his New York criminal trial kicked off, and was later found guilty of 34 felony charges for falsifying business records.
The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in Manhattan on charges of sex trafficking and other federal charges. He has pleaded not guilty.
We're praying for all the victims of the Key Bridge collapse.
Tragedy on the water in the early morning hours of March 26, when a 213 million pound cargo ship hit a support pillar for Baltimore Francis Scott Key Bridge. 6 construction workers were killed in the collapse. Celebration turned to terror when shots rang out at a Super Bowl parade in Kansas City.
Good morning, you may be seated.
In Michigan, Jennifer and James Crumbly were sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison, marking the first time ever that the parents of a school shooter were legally held accountable for their child's actions. A days-long manhunt captured the attention of the nation after the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, was shot and killed in Midtown Manhattan in early December. The alleged gunman, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, was later captured in Pennsylvania at a McDonald's. He pleaded not guilty to the 11 New York State charges, including murder in the first and second degrees. Helene made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 hurricane before cutting north through the Carolinas, causing devastating flooding throughout western North Carolina. At least 230 people died in 6 states. Less than 2 weeks later, Hurricane Milton slammed into western Florida as a Category 3 storm. 2 major deadly storms, millions of people impacted, billions of dollars worth of damage left behind. October 7th marked 1 year since the deadly terror attack by Hamas, where nearly 1,200 people in Israel were killed and hundreds were taken hostage. In the year since, over 44,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza by Israel, and nearly all of the 2.2 million people living there have been displaced. Protests sprung up at college campuses across the country in response to the ongoing humanitarian crisis. In Syria, Bashar al-Assad's regime fell as a rebel coalition swept into Damascus, taking control of the capital and forcing the longtime dictator to flee the country. As the war in Ukraine raged and U.S. relations with Russia continued to deteriorate, a bright spot was the return of 3 American citizens as a part of an elaborate multinational prison swap. The election rematch between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump dominated much of 2024 until an unexpected moment following CNN's presidential debate.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with.
Biden dropped out. Vice President Kamala Harris moved up to the top of the ticket. During the campaign, former President Trump survived not 1, but 2 attempts on his life. In November, the American people made their voices heard and re-elected Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States. 3rd time's a charm for Boeing to successfully launch its Starliner capsule with astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams on board. Their stay on the International Space Station was extended when NASA was forced to bring the spacecraft back to Earth due to a technical issue. 2024 was a year of unexpected stars, though no star shined brighter than the GOAT herself and the rest of the Golden Girls on the Olympic stage.
Well. We had a lot of events. Thank you, darling. Appreciate you. I am, for everybody on TikTok, I'm sharing the news on my YouTube feed. So let me, matter of fact, share that out with you so you can be able to see it. But I am recapping all of the information that had happened all this year, breaking down the news, all the weather, you name it. Like, my channel has become where it's just all the news. So let all your family and friends know that they would be informed best through YouTube at Prime Black. That's where you're going to find out what you're going to need to find out. Some way, somehow. Stuff that may not make sense, we try to make it make sense. We do the best we can to make it make sense. So hopefully I have done the best I can with making that happen. I think there's another one that might capture some other stuff as well that I might have missed on that one. But
Conspiracy theories surrounding FEMA's response to a devastating hurricane in the south and a deadly bridge collapse in Baltimore. It has been a busy year. Bradley Blackburn looks at the stories that made national headlines in 2024.
A cargo ship lost power and rammed into Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge in the spring, causing it to collapse.
The worst that the Key Bridge is gone. It still shakes us.
6 construction workers on the bridge were killed. Hurricane season brought Helene and Milton, storms that devastated parts of the South. Helene killed more than 100 people in North Carolina alone and led to disinformation surrounding FEMA's response, prompting agency teams to operations to secure locations as a precaution. Protests over the Israel-Hamas war escalated on college campuses. Police clashed with demonstrators across the country while clearing out encampments. Some universities had their commencement ceremonies disrupted, while others canceled their main graduation altogether. The man accused of murdering Georgia nursing student Laken Riley was found guilty in November. Venezuelan migrant Jose Ibarra, who entered the U.S. illegally, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In December, a gunman killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in front of a Midtown Manhattan hotel.
It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes.
The 5-day manhunt ended at a Pennsylvania McDonald's, where police arrested a 26-year-old Ivy League graduate. 2024 marked the first time parents in the U.S. were held criminally responsible for a school shooting. James and Jennifer Crumbley were
I just love that point, because this is the first time in history where parents were held criminally. They were held criminally responsible. So we can be holding parents responsible for their kid doodling all over the floor, making a mess, or doing all of these other things, but we couldn't be accountable when they actually murdered somebody, like the actual kid. So this is the first time, this is unprecedented that we're finally seeing this, because throughout history, many of these kids and young adults got away with murder. And even then, the kid didn't get punished and the parents didn't get punished. But this is the first time in history that Jennifer and James Crumbley were convicted for what their son did on a mass shooting. Because it was encouraged, it was encouraged, it was all of these things. Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't happen. So yes.
Convicted of involuntary manslaughter in connection with the 2021 Michigan shooting their son carried out that left 4 students dead. Gun violence also shook Joel Osteen's Texas megachurch.
Of course, we're devastated. I mean, we've been here 65 years.
And the parade for the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs. It was an eventful year for golfer Scottie Scheffler, who won 7 tournaments, including the Masters, and got arrested at the PGA Championship. The charges were later dropped, citing a misunderstanding.
I just don't really know what to say about it, but yeah, everything else has been pretty special.
Scheffler also earned gold at the Summer Olympics, part of Team USA's 126 medal haul, the most at the Paris Games.
Caitlin Clark's first time.
Interest in women's basketball skyrocketed, thanks in large part to phenom Caitlin Clark, who broke both NCAA and WNBA records.
I feel like there were so many ways I could have been even better this year.
LA Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani became the first player to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in a single season. His team went on to win the World Series. August saw the emotional family reunions of 3 Americans who had been wrongfully detained in Russia, including Marine veteran Paul Whelan and Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich. They returned to U.S. soil following an historic prisoner swap.
I just say thank you to everybody. Thank you for all your prayers, your good wishes.
Boeing launched 2 NASA astronauts into space for the first time with its Starliner spacecraft, but problems plagued the planned 8-day mission, leaving the astronauts stranded on the International Space Station.
We all just went by each other.
Mysterious drone sightings across multiple states had Americans on edge. And finally, millions of Americans witnessed a celestial marvel, a solar eclipse, where the moon blocks out the sun. It won't happen again in the continental U.S. until 2044. Bradley Black.
No, it's going to happen again. Get your facts straight. Oh, it's going to happen. It'll happen sooner than you thought. So, kind of misleading on that part. But that is definitely, it's heavy. It's getting heavy. It's getting really heavy out here. I just want to recap on that because this is what it's all about. Being able to show you every part on how all of this has come to be, how it come to pass, how the tinderbox got lit, how the straw finally broke on the camel's back. That's what we're trying to get people to understand, that, hey, things have changed. Things have changed. I'm trying to muster through all of these because there's so many, but yeah, it's like that. I just wanted to make sure I cover everything that is going on this year. So I'm gonna do another one, but I got so many. I'm gonna have to break this up more and make sure. I just wanted to make sure I got everything covered, because there's just so much information, y'all. It's just so much information. And I like to keep us informed.
Vaccination rates led to a record number of cases and deaths for several viruses.
And there proved to be extra benefits from weight loss drugs. Michael George looks back at this year's top health headlines.
Studies showed weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy have wide-ranging benefits, from Alzheimer's disease to kidney function to addiction. They're so popular, copycat versions popped up.
They have not been safety tested. We don't know if they're as effective as the prescription drug.
The CDC says 2024 had 4 times the number of measles and whooping cough cases than the previous year. Pediatric deaths due to influenza hit a record high, due in part to lower vaccination rates. The American Red Cross declared an emergency blood shortage, with donors at a 20-year low.
People need to realize it's not that hard. It's not much time.
Dozens of cases of H5N1 bird flu have been confirmed in people. Most infections are traced back to contact with farm or wild animals. Mosquito-borne illnesses caused some panic this summer. Several Massachusetts towns issued voluntary lockdowns in the evening to prevent infection of Triple E.
These are recommendations, not hard and stop requirements.
A CBS News analysis found foodborne illnesses have increased 42% since 2013. They caused several high-profile recalls, including for E. coli at some McDonald's and for deadly listeria in Boar's Head deli meat.
They're happening more frequently.
The American Cancer Society found colorectal cancer is now the leading cause of cancer death in men under 50, and the second leading cause of cancer death for women of the same age. A separate ACS report shows Generation X and millennials have a higher risk of developing 17 cancers compared to older generations.
It's likely an environmental aspect, whether that's diet, lack of exercise, some other exposure.
The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force now recommends women start receiving mammograms at age 40 instead of 50, and get screened every other year up to age 74. Research from the Annals of Internal Medicine shows alcohol use spiked during the COVID-19 pandemic and stayed high through at least 2022.
People don't know where to get help. They don't know that they need help.
The CDC says opioid overdose deaths slowed to the lowest level since 2020, after peaking in 2023.
I'm blessed to have received this gift, a second chance at life.
And Tawana Looney became the 5th American to receive a gene-edited pig organ. Researchers say this experimental procedure could be a game changer someday for the thousands on transplant waiting lists. Michael.
They said don't cast your pearls amongst swine. That one did it. That one did it. So, besides that, I'm just making sure that I didn't miss any of the ones that pertain to all that is going on. This one may actually be good too. I mean, no, I'm gonna save it. It's a good one though. Got some other ones. Matter of fact, I'm gonna end it off with this one. So, with all that's going on, I hope that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing.
The year 2024 witnessed a lot of new inventions and technological breakthroughs. However, if we talk about that one tech word that managed to make headlines throughout the year, that word, unfortunately, is scam. In today's digital age, cybercrime incidents are increasing at an alarming rate. According to the 2024 Global State of Scams report by the Global Anti-Scam Alliance, scammers looted around $1.03 trillion in 2024. The number is up from last year's $1.026 trillion. In India, according to data from the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, a division of the Ministry of Home Affairs, the country reported around $1.3 billion in cyber fraud losses during the first 9 months of 2024. A common perception is that cybercrime is global and fluid. But putting a dent in that theory, a new study this year supported the view that cybercrime, much like forms of organized crime, is embedded within particular contexts. According to the World Cybercrime Index, these are the top cybercrime hotspots in the world. Russia is at the top, followed by Ukraine, China, the United States, Nigeria, Romania, North Korea, the United Kingdom, Brazil, and India. Meanwhile, until recently, India's Jamtara, located in Jharkhand, was infamous for being the headquarters of cybercrime. Such was the notoriety of the city that it even inspired an eponymous OTT series. But law enforcement agencies are of the opinion that new hotspots have emerged, posing a major challenge for the investigating authorities. According to a 2023 report by the Future Crime Research Foundation, an IIT-incubated startup, Bharatpur in the state of Rajasthan emerged as the top cybercrime hotspot, followed by Mathura, Nuh, Deoghar, Jamtara, Gurgaon, Alwar, Bokaro, Karmatand, Giridih, rounding up the top 10. Cyber experts say their proximity to major urban centers, limited cyber security infrastructure, socio-economic challenges, and low digital literacy are some of the common factors.
These districts are placed very strategically. They have multiple borders. For example, Bharatpur or Nuh or Alwar, they are touching with multiple states. They can easily come to UP, Haryana, Delhi, or any such place which is located so strategically. Criminals definitely exploit it for their activities, because they can commit this crime from one state, they can move to another state easily, they can come back, they can then starting these activities from some other location.
Moreover, these 10 districts collectively account for 80% of cybercrime-related cases in India. Fraudsters keep coming up with new ways to deceive people online. In 2024, different types of scams came to light. Digital arrest fraud, pig butchering scam, online share market scam. The list is endless. Scammers typically employ 3 main strategies: fear, urgency, and money. They often create a sense of panic, claiming there's an urgent problem that needs your immediate attention. As scammers refine the techniques, it's essential to recognize the common digital traps they set to fool unsuspecting victims. In this special episode of Tech It Out, we tell you some of the most prevalent scams you need to watch out for, and we explain how you can better protect yourself against such scams. This year, digital arrest scams claimed many victims. As per government data, Indians lost approximately 120 crore Indian rupees. That's over $14 million to the scam in the first quarter of 2024 alone. The Indian state of Karnataka witnessed the highest number of digital arrest frauds in the country, accounting for over 25% of total scams. In the scam, the victim typically receives a video call from fraudsters pretending to be law enforcement officials. Criminals use technology to create sophisticated setups to enhance their credibility. For instance, fake officers and uniforms are used to appear legitimate. Scammers claim the victim is under investigation for selling illegal items like drugs or fake passports. Naive victims are intimidated and forced to self-arrest or self-quarantine themselves, hence the name digital arrest. Fraudsters threaten the victim with legal consequences and create panic. They use fear to compel the victim to comply with financial demands. The idea is to extort money. In certain situations, victims are coerced into being visible on video calls until demands are met. According to a new report, pig butchering scams have stolen more than $75 billion globally, a number far more than previously estimated. The scam is named after the practice of farmers fattening hogs before slaughter. In other words, pig butchering scams refer to the approach in which attackers essentially fatten victims up and then take everything they got. Scammers often pose as long-lost school friends or potential lovers and con their victims, building trust. The scammer builds rapport with the victims, sweet-talks them before the final blow. So what are the telltale signs of a pig butchering scam? The relationship moves quickly. In other words, someone you've been in contact with via messages only wants to develop a relationship with you in an unusually fast manner. The conversation quickly turns towards investment, especially crypto trading. The scammer will try his or her best to manipulate and pressure the victim to commit funds. The scammer will direct you towards an unknown or unusual trading platform. And lastly, your newly found friend claims your investment has made gains, but you can't access them. Imagine this. You're surfing the internet and suddenly a pop-up notification or an ad appears on your screen. While one assumes these are normal advertisements, chances are it could be malware. According to reports, cyber criminals are taking advantage of trusted tech companies to defraud victims. Called tech support scam, hackers use pop-up messages or phishing emails to scare users into believing their devices have been infected. These pop-up messages prompt the users to either call a tech support number or click a link. While clicking a link leads the user to a fake website, calling the number has a hacker pretending to be a legitimate tech support agent. In both cases, the victim is manipulated into revealing sensitive information such as passwords or bank details. What's more alarming is that scammers are using AI to create fake ads using company logos, making it harder for people to detect and avoid such scams. According to the FBI's 2023 Elderly Fraud Report, the tech support scam was the #1 type of fraud impacting US-based senior citizens. Look at this. These are quick response codes, popularly known as QR codes. A QR code is a type of barcode that stores information and can be read by your smartphone. Most of us use them almost daily to make payments, find out information, and to access a restaurant menu. But did you know that these easy-to-use QR codes could land you in trouble? Let's put it this way, you might just be a scan away from falling prey to a QR code scam, also known as quishing. One wrong scan could lead you to a phishing website. As a result, your sensitive data could be compromised and money could be stolen. Such scams can take place in various ways. Miscreants could place their own QR codes on top of legitimate codes on parking meters or local shops. Cyber criminals might even send you an email or message on social media containing a QR code. Scanning it will lead you to a page that prompts you to fill in your personal data or login credentials. The requested data might include sensitive information like your online banking details. All the information that you enter will be sent straight to the attacker, and then he can do whatever he wishes with that information. Making sense of finances can be quite challenging, especially in the complex world of investments and income generation. Fake trading apps with promises of quick and easy returns. If you happen to receive a similar WhatsApp message, beware. It could be a scam. So let's understand what the scam is. Called online share market scam, scammers pose as acquaintances or financial advisors and approach you on WhatsApp. They share with you fake investment opportunities with unbelievably high returns. These bad actors create a sense of urgency and even pressure you to invest quickly. Exploiting your trust and desire for easy money, they ask you to install a fake trading app and transfer money for profitable stock trading. Victims are pushed to send money through unconventional payment options to avoid detection. Also, victims are tricked into sharing sensitive financial information like credit card details or banking passwords. According to the Indian Cyber Police data, this year, Pune, a city in India's Maharashtra, recorded a collective loss of more than 125 crore rupees, which is approximately $14.7 million, to online share trading scams. The online world is not safe. Internet users are becoming more and more vulnerable. But the fact is that we can't imagine life without the internet. Why? Because it has made our lives simpler and better. But what we can do is be vigilant, exercise caution, and adopt necessary safety measures to stay safe online.
Your every account should be two-factor authenticated. Every account. If it is not two-factor authenticated, assume it is hacked. Second, that learn techniques to scan things. For example, if you are offered an e-commerce link or any such threatening link from police department or RTO that you have been penalized for some violation, or passport office, you get such kind of links. Always verify this on whois.domaintools.com. Mask Aadhaar card is important. So they normally mask all other digits and just show few, so that it should not be misused. Similarly, you should understand the importance of your digital IDs. You should not share each and everything so easily, conveniently to anyone. If you have to share it on a digital form, share low resolution images, and always write something on top of it, that why you are sharing it, for what purpose you are sharing it.
Many governments across the world are doing their bit to curb this menace. For instance, in India, all transactional and service voice calls from financial entities such as banks, investment firms and insurance companies will begin with 160. The prefix 160 will help in the easy identification of the calling entity. In other words, people will be able to distinguish legitimate calls from those made by scammers posing as government officials. That's not all. The Indian government also made it mandatory for telecom companies to monitor the origins of all commercial messages, including OTPs. All commercial messages must be traced, starting from the sender to the recipient. Cases in which the telemarketer's sequence cannot be traced or does not correspond with records, those numbers will get blocked. Meanwhile, companies who send promotional messages are required to share all relevant information, including URLs and callback numbers, with telecom companies. If a company fails to do so, they could get blacklisted for up to 2 years.
Ooh-wee. It's a lot to unpack. I show things for a reason because they are truly reality. Most of the time, people just keep throwing stuff off to the side like it doesn't matter and stuff like that. But when it knocks on your door, it ends up on your shit list. That's why I have to bring this to the forefront, because there's many people that did not want to listen. And now I'm putting it in the formality where you can actually, fifth grader can get it. So I know you're smarter than a fifth grader. And fifth graders are very smart. So I would hope so. But there's a lot of people who are not smarter than a fifth grader. So shout out to all the fifth graders out there. I showed you all these things because wrapped up in a year of review, and that's just from, I'm just showing you the macro. I got a micro. I got some videos to show you a micro of stuff that has happened from a in-home, internal aspect where, whew, this one's going to be doozy. But this one was just from a whole external, that you could see all of the stuff from the outside that's happening. That got people overwhelmed, like getting hit with everything. Cannot sleep, headaches, all of these different things. Got to worry about if power lines going to fall on your house. Got, you know, and beans throwing trees at you. I just did a video on that. The planetary alignments that are just causing, you know, massive amounts of weather events. And so you're seeing the animals, the species. You're seeing people's animals and coming out of nowhere, attacking them, wildlife. And you're seeing people that are not able to recover. All of this acting like everything's all good. People putting on a face. A lot of people lost everything. Everywhere. Malibu, rich people, everywhere. Billionaires, gone, everywhere. The amount of people who are no more this year, who are celebrities, prominence, influencers, whatever, gone. That's another list that I'm gonna work on right now too. But I just want to leave y'all with that because I'm gonna just leave it on. That's what it has been right now. And I don't want us to look past like ain't nothing happening. Oh, it's happening. I'm gonna bring it to you. So glad you guys can enjoy this. And I appreciate everyone on all platforms that are out there, from TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Kick, Twitch. Yeah, we out here. We live. I love every one of y'all. You guys make this so beautiful and possible. So just want to salute to y'all. But we definitely, as much as I can, I try to bring this, catch us back up, keep us up, and knowing